The KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
You can tell how old you are when you start counting the hours back and you go, oh, my God, it was 10 o'clock. I was still awake. What happened? Zepp and I, along with my wife, Rosemary, we went to see the Jayhawks last night.
Yeah.
Over at the Udapils.
Udapils.
And, man, it was a great night. And we were having fun. The music was great. The kinship, the fellowship, the Jayhawks fan base. Place is packed. We're all drinking beer. And holy crap, I'm old and tired and hungover. And I really don't think it was worth it. If I could go back, I would have just gotten in bed at 7 o'clock.
My alarm went off
filled
this
with regret.
Yeah, my alarm went off this morning. I sat up in my bed literally and thought, I'll see you again in 6 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, just like setting an egg timer. I'll be back. You stay right here. I'm coming right back to you. My lover pillow. It's, a little coffee. We'll get ourselves right. But, yeah, hanging. I ran into some friends last night. Same age, Jayhawkers, we've been at it for a while. So I see them at the shows from time to time. And we're walking out about the same time. And they're like, yeah, we just can't hang like we used to. That wasn't even the whole damn show, man. And listen to us bellyache this morning.
We got out midway through the set.
We got on that Udapils beer pretty early, though. That stuff was going down. It's smooth.
My alarm went off this morning, and my first thought before I turned the alarm off was, oh, no, I can't go to Anoka. I can't do the pub crawl. And then I went, oh, wait, that's not today. That's tomorrow.
Yeah,
okay, thank God.
Seriously, it was that tough.
I thought it was today. I was like, oh, no. Hair of the dog is going to be rough today. And then I'm like, no, I got the buffer zone.
You guys can rally.
We can rally. No, we can and will rally, baby.
Recovery day.
It was actually a blast. It was great. Good night out in town.
Yeah.
Kind of beyond idyllic. I mean, perfect temperature, perfect vibe. Everything about it was
nice,
really,
cool
really, really
breeze
nice.
Last night, the Jayhawks came out playing the hits, man.
Yeah, it was good.
One after another, and and it was sold out.
If anything, it was actually just a trial run for tomorrow. The Anoka day tomorrow, 2 p.m. at Serums. We're gonna be there, and we are going to enjoy ourselves.
Game on! It'll be. You know what? We're gonna be one beer in, and this is gonna be a distant memory.
Oh yeah,
this little hang we have this morning.
Of course.
But I do think about the back-to-back. I mean, I could rattle off probably a good 10 days in a row of drinking. Not drinking till I passed out. Drinking, maybe back in my 20s. But, it wasn't uncommon to just go out every night and just get a really good buzz going. But, there's a price to pay now, and I'll be paying it Sunday morning, certainly after the pub crawl in Anoka.
What we missed last night while we were watching the Jayhawks and having a good time, Game 1 of the NBA Finals, the Dallas Mavericks, the vanquishers of our beloved Timberwolves, got just buzzsawed out of the Boston Garden.
Good.
They did. They got smoked.
Kyrie, his shot escaped him, apparently, is what I'm reading. I just saw the highlights this morning.
Or it was
I didn't watch
blocked
the game.
when it did leave his hands.
As a guy who spent my life cheering against the Boston Celtics, I go right back to 1985. They beat the Lakers in Game 1 by 40 points and then lost the series in 6. I'm still picking Mavs in 6. I'm not coming off that hill.
Right.
That's my pick. The NHL Finals. Remember the National Hockey League? I looked it up. The last time the Wild played was April 18th.
Yeah.
It feels like 6 months. The NHL, the Stanley Cup Finals start tomorrow. Edmonton and Miami. One of those sounds like a great hockey town. And then the other one is interesting. Miami.
Yeah, Miami. The distance between the Florida Panthers, a little fun fact. Distance between Miami and the Edmonton Oilers, 2,543 miles. That is the furthest between two cities in NHL history.
Really?
Whatever that means.
How about that?
It means
you mean
nothing,
two teams who meet in the finals?
I guess. It says the furthest between two cities in NHL history. I mean, what's further away than Miami and Edmonton?
I would have said Miami and Seattle.
To the north. Well, Edmonton's pretty far north.
Yeah, it is.
It's north of Calgary.
Oh, I had them inverted in my head.
Yeah,
That's right.
It's up there north of Calgary.
I'm not going to question that. I'll go for it.
Somebody Google mapped it.
Yeah. It is weird to think about hockey being played in Florida in June, in South Florida. It's 104 degrees out there, and they're playing hockey.
I just, I never thought, stupid me, when they had the Tampa and then the Florida Panthers, when all the teams started showing up there. But even out in Arizona, I thought, well, they're not going to last because no one's going to go from, just don't have the culture there. I think in Arizona, you've got enough Minnesota retirees to fill up the stadium. Of course, that didn't work out either. But But down in Miami, I'm just the Florida culture down there. You just so it's palm trees right into the ice rink, I guess.
I guess so.
I mean, Tampa's won a couple of cups?
Yeah, they have. You said something was up. You read that they were like, well, if Miami wins the Stanley Cup, they'll be the first city in Florida to get all 4 titles. They'll have a Super Bowl and NBA Finals. I'm like, yeah, it's the only city in Florida with all 4 sports.
Yeah.
That's like, but it's like getting a blue ribbon for being taller than the guy you've always been taller than. Who cares?
Yeah, they're reaching.
It's National Donut Day. If you're on your way into work or elsewhere this morning. A bunch of deals, general places. 7-Eleven's got a donut special. Dunkin's got them going on. There's no Krispy Kremes in the area, but they got donuts if you're listening to the podcast. National Donut Day at Duck Donuts. I don't even know what Duck Donuts is. But anywhere you get donuts has probably got a deal. They might even throw you a free donut today. That's nice.
I was with a friend last week. I was like, you want to get a donut? He was like, I'm not hungry. I'm like, what does that have to do with it?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Hot donuts now. When the sign at Krispy Kreme turns on, illuminates in the window. I'd still, I mean, having spent many years in the land of Krispy Kreme, it's always pretty special.
It was a hot minute here for Krispy Kreme, and then they went away. But there's, I think, 1 or 2 still around the metro.
There's a lot of late night on the way back home. Hot donuts now, I probably need 12 glazed. That's how drunk I am. A lot of that in the 90s for me.
Oh, yeah.
And I would get 2 down. But I'd think, just this is going to top off the night perfectly. Just what I need, a belly of donut, just pure sugar and lard.
Oh, where's our donuts this morning, man? Wouldn't that be good? A good
always
sugar rush with our caffeine.
Actually, wouldn't hurt a thing. Somebody want to whack that up for us. The end of an era. My gosh, we would be remiss if we did not mention the fact that Pat Sajak is about to shuffle off the television mortal coil. A much bigger deal than you might think, at least according to Vanna White. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's June the 7th, 2024, a day that will go down in history as the last day for Pat Sajak on the Wheel of Fortune.
I can't believe that show has been on my entire life.
Pat Sajak took over in 1981. By the way, he and Vanna White, 4 days a month. That's their job.
Yeah.
They do every other Thursday and Friday. They shoot 6 shows a day.
I forgot. I had heard about that some time ago. 4 days a month. And he makes buku, right?
Oh,
has
many,
been for
many,
a long
many,
time.
many, many millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Let's see. 4 days a month. So, every other Thursday and Friday. Doesn't even miss the weekend.
I mean, you just hit it hard for 4 days.
Yeah.
And kind of like we do it. We recorded this show about a month ago. And
that's exactly right.
We're at home in bed right now.
Sajak lives in Severna Park, Maryland, right next to Annapolis, right by the Naval Academy.
Oh, does he?
And he flies to L.A. every other Thursday morning, tapes 2 days worth of shows, and flies back to Maryland.
He's got it figured out.
He's got a good thing going. Vanna White. Looking back on their, 43 years together?
Yeah.
Boy, Vanna getting all up in her feels.
Oh, yeah, she is. Big goodbye for Pat. Here it is.
I don't know how to put into words what these past 41 years have meant to me. 8,000 episodes went by like that. When I first started, I was so green. You made me so comfortable and made me so confident. You made me who I am.
What are they,
you really
surgeons?
did. We've grown up on television, and life events we shared with our families are my favorite. We've watched our children grow up together. We've traveled all over the world. We've eaten hundreds of meals together. We've laughed. We've cried.
I think they've done it.
What have they cried about together,
What
honestly?
an incredible
meals.
and unforgettable journey we've had.
It's
You're like
nice.
a brother to me,
She has
and I
another 4
consider
minutes
you
here.
a true lifelong friend who I will always adore.
Oh, man.
I love you, Pat.
Yeah, he's rolling his eyes.
Tell you what, that's literally, they're not in a surgical theater. Like, you made me comfortable. You got those shaky hands of mine to calm down. You're just flipping letters, and he's just
there's
keeping,
the gig. Now, she's not getting Sajak money, but she gets ridiculous money, and that's the job right there. I mean, there's no prep work. I mean, you just walk in and flip the letters.
Like how she goes, 40 years went by like that.
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
40 years.
Feels like it's been a long, hard 40 on this end. Pat, you know, they've been replaying some of their favorite moments.
Sure.
And we've had these. We played them on the radio. It's been a staple for most of my radio career, the big flubs on Wheel of Fortune.
One of our all-time favorites was from 1999. It was done right here at Madison Square Garden. Remember this? P. There is a P. A group of pill pushers?
Yes.
A group of pill pushers. That's pretty good.
This is Wheel of Fortune, Joe!
There you go. I mean, are there any of the great? I was just thinking, he's the last of the great game show hosts. You know, when you think back on him.
I don't. He doesn't. He's not Trebek level to me.
No,
Trebek
great.
was great. Bob Barker.
Well, I mean, 41 years.
Monty
Wheel of
Hall.
Fortune,
I
yeah.
put Sajak right up there next to a Wink Martindale or
Who was the other guy? Chuck Woolery?
Chuck
Woolery,
Woolery,
yeah.
be back in 2 and 2.
2 and 2.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So he'd fold that leg over. Tell me about the date.
Well, things seem to be going well, Chuck, till she tensed up.
Yeah, that was
I'd
it.
like to solve
Okay.
bridal and gold shower.
That's
Sorry.
the reaction.
Jen, it's your turn.
I'd like to solve
Okay.
bridal and cold shower.
Yeah.
I like even Pat was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
really? You're fun. You know, I want your number for after the show. You've got some ideas, but
So a hell of a run, honestly. I mean, Pat Sajak,
yeah.
you know, like you said, I don't put him on that upper echelon, but then you look at it and go, well, 40. He started in 1981, so he's been there 43 years. Vanna for 41, I guess.
remember that talk show he had for a hot minute?
I
forget.
don't.
Yeah, he had his own talk show. They tried him late night back when they were bringing Chevy
Oh, wow.
Chase out.
Okay.
There's a lot of money in late night, and
Yeah.
they were giving everyone a
Trying
shot
everybody.
at it. Yeah, he came out. Dennis Miller was there for a season or something
Yeah.
like that, and then Pat Sajak, had a moment. And I remember watching it, and it was just like one long dad joke. It was just kind of dull and a bit too. It's like, Wheel of Fortune, that's your speed, brother. That's your thing.
No, he definitely found his thing. For all of her love and hard work over the years, Vanna White's reward is now working with Ryan Seacrest. Just vanilla ice cream in human form. I'm sure he's a lovely guy, but when Sajak is edgier than you are, I mean, come on.
Just plug and play.
I guess so. You know what? And we're going to talk about this throughout the day today, but it is also kind of a high holy day around here. His Royal Badness's birthday, Prince Rogers Nelson, born on June 7th, and quickly, only because it does matter. It's we give Tony a lot of grief around here, but there's magic in Tony Lee's in those genes of his, both in both the GE
personal.
and the JEA.
Yeah.
Getting tingly.
Tony, do you want to go ahead and share with everybody that you did in fact play matchmaker for one of the great love affairs of the 20th century?
My Prince story. Well, I'd like to think I had some effect. No, I happened to be there at First Avenue, dancing on the floor, having a fine evening, and I was right next to Prince himself.
Yeah.
And then this entourage came in, and this stunning exotic beauty came in. It was Apollonia. And I had read later in Rolling Stone that was the first night that he met her. And they were dancing and prancing right next to me. Prince was in his leopard pants.
I'm giving you
And,
full credit, brother.
They were
well
very
played.
flirtatious.
Yeah.
It actually it was like watching these beautiful animals mating at the zoo. It
When doves cry.
was very exotic. Yeah, it was cool.
You didn't try and cut in?
Well, yes.
And
of
dance
course.
with him, I mean.
Well, I was dancing with him, and she did cut in.
And then they were off to Lake
Yeah,
Minnetonka.
The way I'm seeing it go down is she was checking you out, and he saw her checking out you, and then he goes, "Oh, wait, hold on, I need to." And then he started some princifying right there, and then all of a sudden, one thing led to another.
Princifying. And he was, we all know
Princifying.
Prince was a shorter fella or whatever, but where was he at in his career about when this happened? Was it 1999 stuff? Was it, Delirious?
It was right before
Was it-
Purple Rain.
Okay, yeah. So it would have been like Delirious,
Early
1999,
80s,
all that. So he was happening, but he wasn't.
he was happening.
He wasn't worldwide, mega global star
About
yet.
to be.
Yeah.
About to be. Thanks
So
to
he gets-
it. thanks to he was doing the bump with Tony. Remember that little hip shake dance?
I knocked him into the stands.
Yeah.
Tony uttered something about purple rain while he was tripping, and Prince's ears perked up. He's like, "Wait a minit,
Tony, did you think about putting him on your shoulders? Did you just think about just throwing him up there and running him around like a chicken fighting with people?
Just throw him up into the rafters.
Take him upstairs into the bathroom, give him a swirly."
Oh my God! Hey, speaking of swirlies, Mike Evans' Hollywood Report coming up. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday, June 7th, the perfect time for the Mike Evans Hollywood Report.
Hey, good morning, KQRS, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Good morning, Steve and Zepp and Tony. Just good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Friday. I'm back from Palm Springs and a lot of golf. Oh, it was hot there. Hey, Movie Review Friday, and the number one movie this weekend will probably be Will Smith and Martin Lawrence's in their fourth franchise that started 3 decades ago. This one, Bad Boys, Ride or Die. There is a lot of bickering between the stars, and one surprise, this film has them being chased by the law. Now, if you like this franchise, you're going to love this movie. If you're new to the franchise, I think you're going to like this movie and recommend you go see it. The been there, done that, action, adventure comedy, I think should do solid box office. One thing for sure, Steve, I think you'll agree, this has got to be a hit to jumpstart Will Smith's career, which has been faltering for about a decade. Rated R, 2 hours long, 3 stars for the new Bad Boys. The other movie opening today is The Watchers. It's from M. Night Shyamalan. You know, only movie I've ever really loved from M. Night was The Sixth Sense. I see dead people. But that was 25 years ago. If you like horror movies, which I don't particularly like horror movies, you're going to like this one. I recommend you go see it. PG-13, 100 minutes long, 2.5 stars for the horror movie The Watchers. And I got some bad news for you. Pre-sales projections for Horizon American Saga Chapter 1, the $110 million, 3-hour-long Kevin Costner Western that will drop at Marcus Theaters on June 28th. The pre-sales projections for that movie, only $16 million will be brought in the opening weekend. I find that hard to believe, but a lot of people just won't go to 3-hour movies. But I'm telling you right now, it is fabulous. There's going to be a new Hunger Games movie in 2026. And there's going to be a Pinky Blinders movie. It will star Cillian Murphy, and it will be exclusively on Netflix. Little TV news coming back. Spin series from the original Criminal Minds. Coming back, The Morning Show. Coming back, The Voice. And a Dexter prequel. Most excited, though, getting a 4th season, green light, is Hacks with Gene Smart. I love that show. And next year, get ready for the production company Higher Ground to get very active in several TV series. The hook here is the brain trust of Higher Ground is Michelle and Barack Obama. One thing I know for sure is Aloha Friday, no work till Monday. We're gonna play today. Mealy, Kalikamaka, Howley Maka, Hiki Ho, Lily Yokalani, Lani on the OK, La Coo, and a cock and a hawk, and hooey, 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 ho.
Aloha. There you have it, the Mike Evans Hollywood Report. It is June 7th, and the weekend is upon us. We're going to be up in Anoka tomorrow, but before we can look forward to that, we got to look back. On June 7th, 1978, Wes Unseld sank a few free throws to lead the Washington Bullets, as they were then called, to a Game 7 victory over the Seattle Supersonics in Seattle. The Bullets, later, of course, renamed the Washington Wizards, their only NBA title. It was during that playoff run that Bullets coach Dick Motta uttered the words, well, you know, the opera isn't over until the fat lady sings. And then that turned into, It ain't over till the fat lady sings.
I thought that went back like a century or something.
Maybe it did, but he was the first guy in sports to throw that. I mean, it became their rallying cry.
That's great.
There was a lot of talk watching those finals. Everything was all about is the fat lady singing. Yeah. And if you watch those games, the cameras would pan in the crowd and find overweight women and try to put them on. My brother Jim played basketball at Morgan State University in Baltimore. His roommate and teammate was Seattle Supersonics center Marvin Webster. So we were hardcore Sonics fans.
The human eraser.
The human eraser. Knew him. He was a wonderful guy. And we were all in on those Sonics. And then they lost. And they traded Marvin Webster to the Knicks. And then a year later, they won the title without Marvin. And I remember thinking, oh, maybe Marvin's not the greatest player in the world. Damn.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Friday, June the 7th, 2024. On this day in 1958, Prince Rogers Nelson was born. Boy, I don't know if there are too many artists ever more associated with their hometown, more beloved, and more loving of that town than Prince and Minneapolis.
Well, he embraced it back, and we've talked about this over the years. Bob Dylan, of course, super famous musician from Minnesota. But Bob, took a break from Minnesota. In fact, there was a time where he would tell people...
About 58 years now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I mean, he's eased back in, but I mean, it's there was a time he was just telling people he was from New York.
Sure.
He just split and didn't look back. But Prince never did that. I mean, quite the opposite. He made his home here. He featured Minnesota. Heck, he wrote a playoff song when Minnesota played the Saints in the NFC Championship when Favre was under center. And he was always Minnesota pride. The purple was right there.
My first time here was in April, or was it probably April of 1990, and we played First Avenue, first time ever, and all we thought about on the drive in and the whole time we were here was Prince. Where's Prince? Are we going to see Prince? Maybe. I mean, he was just, and I'm in a band that got together in large part because we were all obsessed with the Replacements, and we all loved Soul Asylum. We loved the bands from this town, but the first time in town, all we were thinking about was Prince. It was like, and then walking into First Ave, it was like, holy crap, we're actually here. This is where it all went down. And it was just such a it was this unified. I mean, I knew punks, I knew goths, I knew rockers, I knew R&B. Everybody was into Prince. He completely covered every corner of the music world. I saw him several times, all just, kind of mind-blowing. But I saw him at Paisley Park in 94, the weekend of the NBA All-Star Game. And that still remains, that's not on my best concerts ever list because it's just in its own lane. You know what I mean? There's that show, and then there's every other gig I ever saw. Yeah. And it's just it's the Border Collie at the dog park. You're like, huh. I mean, it looks like the other dogs, but that one's on a whole different level. And that was what that show was like for me. And it was, as I said, it was like a private party for the NBA. It was a 2 a.m. set the night before the game, and I'm watching Prince at Paisley Park surrounded by NBA players. So, like, my brain was just jello. But I was like, I'm 4 feet away from Prince and 4 feet away from Magic Johnson. I was like, I'm just shoot me right now. Cool. Life will not be any cooler.
I met a Bruce Springsteen concert, who has a huge following here in Minnesota, and probably like at the height of his following, I'm at the Tunnel of Love tour, and I forget where it's playing. It doesn't matter, but Prince walked into the...
Really?
Prince walks in with his entourage over to the sound stage, the big sound platform over there, and the place just turned from Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band to the sound stage. And there was, if you can believe it, you could hear murmuring during Bruce Springsteen playing the whole thing. And of course, the moment is, oh my God, Prince is going to get on stage with Bruce Springsteen. He watched one song, and then the entourage reversed their direction and went right back through the tunnel. So that didn't happen. I'm at a Lenny Kravitz show at Target Center, and Prince does show up to that and jumps on stage, grabs a guitar, straps it on, and those two go have this guitar battle battle on stage, and that was amazing. But yeah, here we are, a classic rock station that doesn't play Prince. Why? I don't want to get into it. Don't get me started. I've gone down this path before, but tell me that Let's Go Crazy and Purple Rain and When Doves Cry aren't rock songs.
No, one of the greatest guitarists.
Exactly. One of the greatest of all time. And but anyway, but we can talk about Prince, and because, he did. I mean, everybody, Prince is Minnesota.
If he were the lead guitarist in the band who never sang a note, he would be on every greatest guitarist list ever.
You're right.
I mean, he really would be. But because he's Prince, it's like Paul McCartney, like he's a little bit more than just a bass player, but he's also like the most revolutionary, groundbreaking bassist of the 1960s.
Yeah, right.
Prince is he's that great on guitar.
Yeah.
And we can talk about it all the time. You can never overstate. Like I said, my personal favorite gig is a Prince gig, and it's on its own list. His Super Bowl halftime shows on a whole separate list. I just don't think anybody can. You can't. You have great performances. I mean, you have great, amazing spectacles. But he was doing all that while playing that guitar in heels on a slippery tarp in the pouring rain. I mean, everything about it was just can't be replicated. Early on, back again to the first time we ever came here in 1990. That year, 1990, the Black Crowes' first single, "Jealous Again," was a big rock radio hit. And people were telling us that summer, like, hey, Prince plays "Jealous Again." And we were like, what? The first time someone said that, we were like, yeah, okay, sure. And then it kept coming up, and we were like, wait, what? And then several people reported, like, no, he is doing "Jealous Again" now. And they go, no, he does covers. He loves new songs, and he'll learn them, and the band will play them. And for several years, we just would every now and again look at each other and go, man, that's the greatest, that's the coolest possible thing.
Yeah.
And years later, I finally heard a tape of it, and it was completely not true.
Oh.
In the middle of just a jam, he said the words "jealous again." That was it. He just threw it out there.
My gosh.
And I was like, yeah, well, I mean, I'll still claim it. We'll still take it. But no, it was his song, and he just repeated some words from a song we had. And for all I know, he never even heard who knows?
Maybe he said Jello.
Could have been.
Jello,
Very much
Jello
could have
again,
been.
please. Well, I did mention this before the break. We'll play it. It's a couple of years old. WCCO Television found this old treasure that laid untouched for 52 years in their vaults over there. But it's April 1970. Minneapolis public school educators went on strike, and the cameras found an 11-year-old Prince. He ended up on the news that night.
Are most of the kids in favor of the picketing?
Yep.
How come?
I think they should get a better education too, and I think they should get some more money because they be working extra hours for us and all that stuff.
Yeah, they're 11 years old. And
that's so him.
The same height. He never grew any taller than that. But anyway, a giant happy birthday, Prince. Wish he was still... Yeah.
There's an engineer who works at Ocean Way Recording Studio in Nashville, and he had cut his teeth at Paisley Park in the 80s, working as one of several engineers there. And he had some stories because we were working with him one time in the 90s, and so right away we were like, "You were at Paisley Park? Let's have it." I mean, everybody in the music world, if you meet anybody who ever dealt with Prince, it's just the room stops. Okay, tell me some stories.
Yeah.
And it's like it's universal because he was just that. He just means that much to every musician on the planet. And this engineer said doing tracking for some of the stuff on Purple Rain. Prince is playing every instrument on those records, and he said there was no guide tapes. He said Prince would walk in and go, "I got a song. All right, set the kit up," and they'd mic the drums. And he goes, he would walk in and sit down, no click track, and he would just say, "Roll tape," and Prince would just lay down a groove. And he goes, it's just, as far as I know, he's just making this up as he goes. He would just play a 5 or 6 minute drum pattern, and every 8 or 16 bars, he'd go a fill and do a change, little change, go back. He would just play. And then without a word, he would just get up, and he wouldn't say, "How is that? Do we need to listen back?" He would then go pick up the bass and play along. He literally built all the tracks himself, but without guide tapes, without notes, without a click track, just literally every bit of it in his head. And he said, and by the third or fourth instrument, we're all sitting there every time going, "This song's unbelievable."
Right.
It's like it's just all coming out of him.
He could do that,
And then like at the very end, he'd be like, I guess I should sing something over this. and then it's this on top of this amazing bed. Oh, and the melody is the catchiest thing you ever heard, and the lyrics are great, and he's just a whole different level.
Yeah, but he was just a studio guy. It's not like he could take that up on stage. Oh, wait, right. Elton John called him the greatest performer ever, and a lot of people agree with that. And what he did for local musicians, if not anything, then to just kind of search them out. If you didn't have a record deal and you were just playing the bars, you probably ended out at Paisley Park recording. I would run into so many musicians that would say, "Oh yeah, I just get a call one day," and they'd say, "Prince would like you come out to Paisley Park and play." And I'm like, well, what was that like? So, well, you'd show up, you'd go into the studio, Prince would walk in and go, "Okay, play. Just play." Play what? Just play whatever you want. And then he'd record you for about 15 minutes, and he'd go into the sound booth and record you himself. There was no one else in there. It's just you and Prince. Prince would record a bunch of stuff and go, "Okay, thank you." He was searching for something, trying to mine the local talent. And I said, and? He goes, I got a check for $2,000 about 3 months later and a thank you note, and that was it. But,
nice.
But he was looking. He was constantly cultivating. It was just, that was his connection with Minnesota.
I ran into one of the artists just the other night. I strolled into a restaurant while my boy was getting his hair cut, and I hear, "Hey, Tony Lee." And it was David Ellis, who was on Prince's label as rapper TC Ellis. I haven't seen him since elementary school, and we both recognized each other.
Awesome.
Neither one of you have changed a bit.
Seriously, since like third grade. It's like, hey, instantly.
Yeah, that's great.
That's
But
awesome.
super talent as well.
Awesome.
That's awesome. In 2006, Prince rented a Hollywood mansion that belonged to Carlos Boozer, NBA player. Rented it for a few months. He had a large front gate. Prince took off whatever was on there and put up the Prince symbol on the gate for a house he was renting for like 3 months. Changed the master bedroom to a hair salon.
Why not?
There were streaming blue waters that led to the front door. He dyed it purple.
Okay.
I mean, if I'm going to be here for 3 months, I have to make it mine.
Sure.
Boozer sued him. I mean, it was like a big deal. I was like, come on, man, this is crazy. Yeah. It was, by the way, it was a $70,000 a month rental. 70 gur a month.
Wow.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you going to do?
Well, it's a different planet.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So we're anyway, all this to say, happy birthday, Prince, man. I still think there's, in the world of, just name the people. I mean, Michael Jackson was obviously the biggest thing in the world for a long time. The Beatles, Elvis Presley, just whatever your list is, if you're going to put 10 people on there and Prince isn't, as far as most impactful and most mind-boggling all around, like you said, not just the records, but live performer, that's what puts it over the top for me.
Yeah.
He's on, he's absolutely a Mount Rushmore guy, and my original point is still, and having been here now a year and a half, he just never had enough. It was all Minnesota all the time.
Yeah.
Loved it.
And because of his battles with the record label, I mean, we all know the stories from 2016 when he passed away. He has volumes. He has, I think I'm remembering, 2 full albums with Prince and the Revolution that they completed at that time when they were peaking and making their music and their magic that he never released. Already completely done, produced, and in that vault. And I don't know where that legality and everything is at. I've heard of some settlements, and just a little bit has been released. But I would, come on, start releasing that stuff, man. I'd love to start hearing what's in that vault.
I do believe it shall trickle out. All right, so happy birthday, Prince. There is a restaurant that if this thing comes north, if this concept comes to Minnesota, I am down for checking it out. If you're under 30, don't even bother. Trust me. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS. The KQ Morning Show is back, and we always want to hear from you. Call or text 651-989-ROCK. 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. This just in, or at least I'm just seeing this. The United States men's national cricket team, which I didn't know existed, just beat the Pakistani national cricket team.
I thought you were going to say England or something.
No, but it is That's my point. Are you asleep yet? No. Here's one thing. So I'm only mentioning it for one reason.
Yeah.
Pakistan's national religion is literally cricket. It's so important there. One of their prime ministers was literally elected because he was a cricket champion.
Are they all going to be put to death or something?
This is like, I don't know. This is like. They're saying this is like this is the U.S. losing in basketball to, like, British Virgin Island. It's
Jamaica.
It's so far and away the biggest upset in the history of cricket. Wow. And again, I watched 20 minutes of cricket on TV once to see how long I could watch it.
Yeah, me too.
And after about 20, I was like, okay, seriously, stop. But I didn't even know we had a national team. I'm just saying, you know what? Every now and again, I'm like, hey, go USA. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like a day of national mourning in Pakistan. They're freaking out.
I've seen guys playing it in the park, and it's interesting. They wear like street clothes, sweaters and khakis.
Absolutely,
and they're crisply and nicely dressed.
Oh, yeah, like V-neck sweaters.
Mm-hmm. They literally have tea breaks.
Yeah.
Tea breaks.
Yeah.
Tea and biscuits. That's
how that goes.
Very civilized. All right.
Well, it's all very civilized. It's a very upscale part of the process of sport anyway. So for the one person out there who likes cricket, hey, way to go.
Well, I mean,
we beat him.
I like that part.
So I mentioned a restaurant in Missouri, just outside of St. Louis. There's a restaurant called Bliss, very upscale. It's a Caribbean restaurant that's upscale, and they have a new policy. Age requirements, not 21. You don't have to be 21 to get in there. You got to be, if you are a gentleman, you must be at least 35. If you are a woman, you got to be at least 30.
I wonder what that cutoff is. I suppose keep those down. I wonder, it's different for guys. Well, we mature.
Anybody, but you got to be 30 to get into this place during peak hours. The owner says, they get a little bit of backlash. They're trying to, I guess they say, we just don't want any drama in here. I'm just going to throw this out there. There's not 30 doesn't mean the end of drama. No. I've noticed in my life.
50 doesn't either.
No.
I mean, I think it lessens, but I suppose in your 20s, it's an upscale restaurant. It's not like kids are going there to just slam pitchers of beer and shots, right?
It would seem to me that wouldn't be too much of a problem, but I guess they're just getting attention. They want attention. Well, they're getting it. I mean, I kind of dig that idea. I mean, I would go check. You know what, though? Honestly, I mean, if you told me there was a restaurant that you had to be 50 to get in, I'd be like, yeah, I'll go check it out. I'm curious, piquing my curiosity. Right. I mean, in the old days, I guess that would have just been the Piccadilly. The old the buffet spot. Where you just walk in there. You used to call it God's waiting room.
Yeah, just start going to dinner at like 3 p.m. Like
That's it, man.
All right. Well, this is the owner and the assistant manager.
It's just something for the older people to come do and have a happy hour, come get some good food, and not have to worry about some of the young folks that bring some of that drama.
And of course, we have been getting a little backlash, but that's okay because we're sticking to our code.
Those are younger ones. You could come patronize the business once you turn 30 or 35 because we're going to be here for a while.
Okay.
So you get carded to go in for dinner.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen restaurants right here in good old Minnesota that'll ban the kids, and I was all for that. And listen, I mean, if the kids are running around and they're unruly, but that rarely happens to me that I run into them like that. But all right, well, I mean, it's their business. Run it like you want, and I applaud it. I'm just thinking of a couple of summers ago when I first got back to Minnesota, I jumped to a 55 and older building. I didn't even know they existed, but I'm looking for an apartment building. Friend of mine here, that's what she does. She goes, well, there's this building, but it's 55 and over. And I'm like, well, I'm 55 at the time. I'm like, what are we talking about here? I loved it. Because I go to bed at 8 o'clock. Do you have a 65 and older you can sneak me into? I go to bed at 8 o'clock. There when a party, because I'd stayed in an Airbnb downtown or something like that. And good luck trying to go to bed at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. At 10 o'clock, there's all sorts of parties going on, or the TV's jacked and they're gaming or whatever. So, all right, let's bring it on. The 30 and over restaurant.
The World Naked Bike Ride is happening in Toronto this weekend. It's the 20th anniversary ride on Saturday. World Naked Bike Ride. Thousands of people will ride throughout Toronto on bicycles nude.
All right.
Nude.
The city is asking that if you use one of their ride share bicycles, just the kind you lease, you rent, the Lime bikes or whatever the company is called. If you are renting a bike for the Naked Ride, they're asking to please wipe down your seats when you're done.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, like in the gym.
It does make
when
sense.
you're done with the equipment.
Yeah, but this is, because if you're on a bike, I mean, your starfish is touching the seat. I mean, that's contact right there. And you're sweating, and there's,
as a matter of common courtesy and hygiene, we strongly ask and encourage those riders to wipe down the seats and handlebars after their ride so they're sanitized for the next rider.
Okay, thanks, Ben.
Sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. I forgot to wipe down my bike.
Yeah, if you're right. Yeah, seriously. What is the...
you know what? You can do a lot of things naked. Volleyball sounds like fun. I mean, a walk in the park, whatever. I get the public nudity thing. Go nuts. But riding a bike,
chafing.
Yeah, just that, and it's. If you're a lady, you're in an awkward position. You've got boobs in your way. If you're a guy, there's. You
got Big Jim and the twins bouncing around, and you got to. I would be so. The only thing that would, it fully clothed in the privacy of my own home. When I accidentally sometimes nut myself, I just want to die.
Right. Yeah.
Imagine doing that on the street, surrounded by other nude people on a bicycle.
Think about a hard stop.
Yeah.
Or hitting a curb or a pothole or something like that.
Yeah, it's already uncomfortable to bike a little bit.
I did do a naked motorcycle parade at the Glencoe campgrounds in Sturgis one year, and that was oddly
bigger
free.
Seat.
It's
much
bigger.
Seat.
It's a saddle.
Yeah, you can get comfortable in there.
Yeah, you can. It was rather nice. It wasn't attractive as it turned out. I don't think there was anyone attractive participating in it, but we did it.
I do have some more information, so this might change our thinking on this.
Okay.
According to the organization, the World Naked Bike Ride, the ride is, quote, a global protest against the overusage of oil and urban pollution. It's promoting greater cycling safety on our roads.
It is.
And encouraging body freedom for everyone.
Body freedom.
My buttocks.
Yeah.
So let me get this straight. We're using too much oil. We need to be safer on the roads.
Take your clothes off.
And we'd like you to be naked to encourage body freedom.
I'm just destroying the planet today. I'm wearing a flannel. I'm as fully clothed as you can possibly be.
This is the sort of thing. This was the brainchild of somebody in their parents' basement.
This is why I hate you people.
It's just that simple.
Somebody's just feeling really bad about themselves. Can you get an STD? Sharing a bike seat naked after someone's been on there naked, I don't know.
I don't
What
think
if you have an open canker sore?
Even the word canker upsets me. Honestly, it's just a terrible,
closed
terrible
canker sore more attractive.
The old canker. That was our sex ed. It was our assistant football coach, track coach, came in. He had to do sex ed. I was like 8th grade or something like that, and he just throws up a picture on the old overhead there of a big old open, oozing canker sore, and he goes, "That's a canker sore. That's what you get for messing around."
Oh my God!
Messing around with old Mary Jane Crottenrotch or whatever he said, Rotten Crotch or whatever. But it just kind of stuck with me. You don't hear the word canker much anymore. But yeah, I don't want to get on a bike. All right, whatever. Knock yourselves out.
They assigned him to
worst people probably. Not these days. Coaches aren't like the coaches we grew up with.
Good guy for basketball. Great coach.
Yeah.
But he walked in. I think I shared this with you before. He said first day of class, about 9 or 10 boys and one girl, Laura Newsom. And he said,
"How awkward."
And he said, "Boys, when I was your age, it was really all about heavy petting."
You had no concept probably of petting at that time in your life, or did you? You guys had heard about it, but because if he would have said heavy petting to me at a certain point in my life, I would have been like, "What?"
We had different words for it, but yes,
right.
We're seniors in high school, and he's like,
seniors. I thought
senior year.
We were like junior high.
He's talking about petting, and he just went on about it, and he kept, and we're literally going, "What the hell is he talking about?" Like, feeling up, or just grabbing stuff. stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha, Coach. Got
Ropey, rubby, rub.
Yeah.
Second base, etc.
The whole and of course, as you would expect, he never once made eye contact with the one girl in the class. He just made sure not to ever look at her out of respect. And she's just sitting there like, oh my God.
God.
And you're in a room with like 10 horn dogs, and we're all like, she's looking great today. I gotta be honest with you.
Lamb amongst the wolves.
Saw her this morning at assembly. I didn't think twice, but now I don't know. Now in the heat of a petting conversation,
we have all these options before we stampede towards the clitoris.
Completely insane.
You ever seen the Monty Python?
It's the best thing ever.
Meaning of Life, the sex education class from John Cleese. That's a fantastic skit.
It is absolutely fantastic. This just in, I'm going to cut in. Zep just shared a story with me. You know what? It's Friday, and I don't mind just winging it on this one. But this is hilarious. A woman named Dana McMichael, her husband was Randy McMichael, former NFL player, traveling from Atlanta to Los Angeles, then on to the Philippines. Oof. They dropped off their 2 sons in the Philippines, and then, I guess with family, and then she and her husband went on to Thailand. So they're on a big cross the world trip here. She says, I didn't have the opportunity to catch on sleep. I was traveling with an 11-year-old and a 2-year-old. I was so beyond jet lagged. After a long day of sightseeing in Thailand, they went to their hotel room, and she was getting ready for bed, and she was going to take a shower. And she did what she always does. She removed her wedding ring. She took some vitamins along with 2 large magnesium pills, and suddenly she started to feel a little uncomfortable. She goes, her quote is, without looking, I threw everything in my mouth. I washed it down with water, but then I started to choke. I tried to throw it back up. I couldn't. I drank more water, tried to push it down with my finger, and at some point I realized, hey, where's my wedding ring that I took off for the shower? Yeah. They turned their room upside down searching for the wedding ring, and by the morning they were like, she's like, I think I swallowed my wedding ring.
Oh my gosh.
They went to a clinic, found an x-ray machine, and it's right there. Boom. You see it as clear as day. Right down the gullet.
Oh, you thought that went down hard. That's going to come out hard.
Yeah, that is going to come out real hard.
Yep, that's my wedding.
Cut.
Oh, yeah, there is. I mean, it's a fairly ornate ring. I mean, it's a wedding ring, for crying out loud. There's diamonds on that sucker. Ouch. I drink a lot of oil. Fish oil, castor oil, something to lube it.
Yeah. Okay, from there, speaking of world travel, if you are curious, and maybe you are, maybe you're not. I'm sure somebody has thought about this. Hey, I wonder who's got the biggest junk on Earth.
I'm blushing.
Yeah, a survey of penis size around the planet.
Oh, who's telling the truth?
Well, that's the thing. This is sort of people are just reporting their own sizes. But according to the World Population Review, who have listed the average penis sizes by country, Sudan coming in at number 1, just over 7 inches is the average.
I mean, I'm not gonna play the stereotype, but we all get it. Sure.
Yeah, that's a lot of manhood right there.
Yeah. That's a lot.
But there is a map you can click on, and you can just check out, what we're looking at. The average size worldwide, the average male penis size between 5.1 and 5.5 inches. That's it.
Around, was that circumference?
Myths linking penis size to height, hand size, or shoe size are largely debunked.
Oh, all right. Over their big shoes. Here's what I know, that we won North America barely. So Canada at 5.48.
Yeah.
Mexico at 5.55. United States at 5.57.
My penis?
In your face, Canada. Wait, I shouldn't say that.
But then you go South America, and we lose.
Yeah.
Yeah. We lose big time. Yeah, they're all well into the 6s down there.
Sad news for our friends in South Asia. They're the smaller of the world. Thailand average erect length 3.7.
All right, sometimes stereotypes do apply.
They sometimes
exist for a reason. Yeah.
Yeah. But here's the other thing. Nearly every list of average penis sizes in the world is likely incorrect. Why? Well, because as I said, men self-report. They measure and then tell you, and you know what it's. This is just a fish story every time.
Yeah, I like to downplay mine just to let my friends feel better. It never has come up ever. When has that ever come up with your buddy? Nobody's ever. We've never gotten into a dick measuring contest.
The largest the self-reported Sudan #1, but as far as actual measured by professionals, Ecuador comes out on top.
Okay,
6.93 erect. So hey, this is good news, I guess, for somebody.
Well, this talks about boobs too in the world, but we don't. Ryder was talking about this earlier. They do the cup size differently. We just don't understand how they measure boobs.
So confused by the sizes. There's double A, and that's bigger than A. It's just the UK must be doing things differently. Like the shoes are all weird and stuff
they
too.
are.
So I just don't know what's going on. It looked like we did okay though in the US.
All right, high five.
Yeah, fair enough. Tony, I believe on the KQ talk and text line 651-989-ROCK, we have a caller.
James from Farmington wants to talk about units.
James, good morning.
What's happening, my friend?
What do you got for us, brother?
Hey, I was just wondering if you guys ever heard the story about Milton Berle, Jackie Gleason, and there was another very famous guy that were out on the golf course talking about who had the bigger manhood. Jackie Gleason and the other guy were talking about it. And Milton Berle said, well, I'll just pull out enough to win.
Right, he had that reputation, right?
Oh, yeah,
that got around
that's going around.
Yeah, that he was had the swinging death, the tripod, as it were.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, guys. You guys have a great weekend.
Appreciate that. Yeah. No, I as a kid, the water's cold, deep too joke never got old in our house.
No, one of the very first jokes I told where I thought I was being funny as hell. I was probably the 10th person to tell it that day, but
these things happen.
There you go. Whatever gets the job done for us. We're selfish.
I remember one moment in time showing up at my brother's house very late. A few of us, it was during the holidays, and the whole family had gathered in the Baltimore, D.C. area. I had two brothers in Baltimore, two sisters in D.C., so that was like the nerve center. And we're all bouncing around. I'd be, I'm in high school or college, and one night I'd be at a brother's house, the next night I'd be at a sister's house. It's like a week long. We're just all crashing on everyone's floors. And my brother Bob and I went to my brother Jim's house, and it was a little late. It was 10:30, 11 at night. Knock on the door. And Jim comes to the door, and he knows it's us, so he's just, just to be fun. But he opens the door, and he's just wearing a T-shirt and nothing else. He's like, yeah?
It's a good look.
And my brother's response, which I've never forgotten to this day, was, the curse of the Irish ain't the drinking.
Oh, funny.
and you asked for it.
That was it. Yeah, you just walked out there. That's
You're going to get that one back. Yeah, you asked for it. Well, this is why I date women with small hands.
On the KQ talk and text line, Rich, we were talking about it. Today is Prince's birthday. Rich shared, happy birthday, Prince. He touched me, literally, working Asia security at a small venue on the old Block E. He reached down and touched my head. Shocked me a little. He smiled. I ended up with 2 of his guitar picks. Awesome performer.
Oh, wow.
It's great. You're always gonna love that. Also on the text line, sorry?
It's like being knighted.
It is like being knighted. Someone shared, I saw a naked bicycle ride in London. Tons of people. The naked guy on the unicycle was hard to see. Yeah, that's a tough one.
All right. Hey, whatever trips your trigger, just don't apply it to you're doing some great thing for the planet. It's a protest. You just like to be in public naked, Do it for that.
Oh man, we're all over the place today.
Yeah, well, we're from one ditch to the other.
Yeah. I mean, that's just how that goes. At some point, though. Oh wait, you know what? Here it is. I knew I was shirking my responsibilities to officially remind everybody that tomorrow we're going to be up in Anoka. We're test driving the old Anoka sip and strut plan.
Yeah.
We're going to be at Serum's at 2 p.m. We're going to make a few pit stops. The 201 Tavern, Billy's Bar, and the Wheelhouse. Why don't you join us? What else are you doing tomorrow at 2 o'clock on a beautiful Saturday?
Day drinking.
Come to Anoka.
Yeah.
Let's knock back a few and walk around and have ourselves a good time. What do you say?
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Friday, June the 7th. That was Magic by the Cars. The Cars, of course, from Boston, Massachusetts. The Boston Celtics have a 1-0 lead over the Dallas Mavericks. They just took them out to the woodshed last night. A 28-point lead in the second quarter. Mavs cut it to 8 in the third, but then Boston pulled back away for an easy victory. Kyrie Irving did everything but hit his shots, and that was a big part of the difference. The Boston Celtics certainly in control of the series after one game. But then again, like they say, a series really begins when a road team wins. And so, as you might expect, they won the home game for game one. Game two, there will be adjustments. We'll see. I still think Dallas is going to win this series. I will happily be proved wrong. I don't really care. I have more friends in Boston, so I guess I'd be happier for them.
Yeah, I got a bunch of Boston buddies, I suppose, that will just be stoked again for their, 150th championship in that city.
That's right, 150.
Yeah.
Just this century alone, the Celtics have one, the Red Sox have 3 or 4, the Bruins have at least one, and then we don't need to talk about the Patriots.
Right. They piled up a few.
First time I ever went to Boston, I remember thinking, it was like New York to me. It was huge and big and mysterious and scary. It was the fall of 1988. I got lost driving. We had a gig booked up there and it fell through. We walked into the club and the guy goes, "Did you guys bring your own PA?" And I'm like, "What? Do I bring a PA? What are you talking about?" It's back in the days when you're like, we don't even know who booked this gig, but you were expecting us, but no one told us to get a PA. We ended up not even. We drove, from New York. We get to Boston. It was a really bizarre thing. It was the Saturday night after Michael Dukakis had lost the presidential election to George Bush, 1988. 88. And Dukakis is a Massachusetts guy, and I was just aware of that having happened. And we walked into this club, and the first 6 people I saw were all just drinking, talking about Dukakis, and I knew it was Dukakis, and they were all upset.
Damn tank, remember that?
Yeah, the tank thing, right? So that's just as a member of content. That's how long ago we're talking. This is forever ago. Yeah. And the guy's like, if you don't have a PA, you can't play. And so we just got back in the van and drove to Albany because we had a gig there the next night. We were like, yeah, whatever. But we got lost in town. But anyway, all this to say, when I started going back to Boston a few years later more regularly, probably the 3rd or 4th time there, it hit me. I was like, this town's tiny. It's actually really small.
Yeah.
It's fascinatingly tiny and compact. And everybody I know, I have a lot of friends from that area, and they always say, "Oh yeah, no, it's the mouse that roared." It's like people always think we're a major city, and it's not that at all. You can walk across the whole damn city in an hour.
Yeah, we had a.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's easy to get lost there too. The streets make no sense, and they end for no reason.
Oh, and they're
nothing
narrow,
makes sense.
and I never really drove there myself. Out on the turnpike a couple of times, I got assaulted by a sweet little old lady because I fell asleep and bumped her bumper, and she cracked me with her, walked back and hit me with her purse. "Stay off my ass!"
Yeah,
and I was wide awake after that, but. But yeah, that was there's just one of those cities. I remember when my Salem, not technically Boston, buddies would come out to the Midwest. They'd be like, "You have houses that are 1 story?" "Yeah, it's called a Rambler." They're like, "That's nuts." And then I got there and saw that everything was at least 3 stories. And I'm talking about just the average house. They built it up.
Everything's stacked on top of each other. Yeah, it's a pretty frenetic place. It's a lot of it's a very passionate. I mean, you're
that's one way to put it.
You're a couple. You're either gonna a stranger's either gonna kiss you or you're gonna be in a fist fight. It's like everywhere you go in that town. It's crazy. I've played a lot of gigs in Boston. Had a lot of fun there. It's a great concert town. I mean, people because they're all out of their gourds. They lose their mind at gigs. A lot of fun there. And speaking of gigs, a week from tonight at the Turf Club in St. Paul, my band Bagmen will be playing. 3-piece rock and roll band, if you're into that sort of thing. So we're going to give away a couple tickets. But oh my God, as it's Friday, you are going to have to earn them, Tony.
Oh, it's time. Do not fear the toaster. Embrace the anxiety. It's time again for Beat the Toaster. Here's what we do. We pop a slice of bread into the toaster right here in the studio, and we give you a category. Then you name as many things that pop into your pretty little head as possible in 15 seconds before the toast pops. It's easy, it's fun, it's anxiety-inducing.
I love it. Did you just say what type of bread we're using today or no?
Today we're going with Dave's Killer Bread, the 21 grain variety.
There's always some of that in my house. Absolutely love that stuff. It's really, really good. All right, so time to beat the toaster. Who is contestant number 1?
Right on. Our first participant, Don from Linwood.
Don, good morning.
Good morning.
Are you a fan of toast?
I love toast.
Attaboy.
Nice.
Do you like rock and roll music?
I love rock and roll music.
Well, you're in the right place.
Yeah, it's meant to be.
You're going to compete against the toaster, and you're going to be trying to win rock and roll tickets to a Bagman gig. Right on, Don. Best of luck, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Don, my boy, we're going to start off a little easy, then the second round gets a little tougher. Your first category, why don't you go ahead in your 15 seconds and name kinds of superstitions. Go.
Fear of ladders, fear of going outside, fear of people, fear of cats, fear of stupid people, fear of walking under a ladder, fear of getting hit by an airplane, fear of flying.
Phobias or fears? Are we giving those all? I mean,
phobia is
the ladder
fear.
is definitely a superstitious thing.
Yeah.
What are we thinking here?
Maybe I didn't explain it.
Maybe, yeah. Well, I mean,
right.
Don's got a solid 6. I think we got to give it to him.
Were you at the Jayhawk show last night? Because I've got a head full of cotton candy this morning.
Don, we're going to give you 6 for that first round.
Good
Well
job,
played,
Don.
sir.
All right.
Yeah, that a boy.
All right. Well, sit tight. We're going to go to contestant 2, and we'll be back momentarily. Tony, who's contestant number 2?
Number 2 is Gary from my hometown of St. Paul.
Gary, good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning.
How you feeling?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm great, thanks. Do you like toast?
Oh, I love toast.
Attaboy. All right. I'm assuming you like rock and roll music, so all you got to do is beat the toaster. You get 2 rounds, and maybe those tickets are yours. Good luck, sir.
Okay.
Let's go, Gary. Your category. Name me kinds or flavors of salad dressing. Go.
French, Italian, Caesar, I'm stumbling here. Blue cheese, Roquefort, Thousand Island.
All right,
All right,
sir.
I got a half dozen right there.
All right.
We're going 6. That's Gary, well done. You got 6. You matched Don, which is what we love to see at Beat the Toaster. A nice, evenly matched first round. Gentlemen, I'll let you both know, round 2 is usually a little tougher. So hang tight, and let's see what happens. All right, we're going back to you, Don. Are you ready for round 2?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
All right, Don. Here's what we want you to do. List some words you can use to describe the sound it makes to eat a carrot. Go.
Swamp, chomp, crunch, chew, and that's all I can think of.
All right.
We'll take sound effects.
Quattro.
Yeah. What was that 4?
I got 4.
Got 4?
All right.
All right. That's 10. Don, a total of 10. Very strong. Well played. I like the sound effect best myself.
I thought he was choking on a carrot.
It's pretty great. All right, time for round 2 for Gary. Gary, round 2 is a little tougher. Good luck, sir.
All right, Gare. Let me tell you something. For some reason, you've decided to pretend you're a caveman today with your limited vocabulary using only 1-syllable words. Describe what you do at your job. Go.
Sleep, sing, dance, drink, smoke, eat,
Interesting.
shuffle.
What do you do for a living?
Yeah,
Gary, what's your job?
Screwing off.
Interesting. Oh, okay.
Well,
Oh my God, he's a professional screw-off. I had no idea.
How much does that pay?
Man, that is fantastic.
Oh, I thought that you can. That's you go from radio to screw off. That's like one above us, I think. Yeah.
Man, well, that looks like I got 6 for round 2 for Gare. So that's a total of 12, which means, Gary, you have won the tickets to Bagman a week from tonight at the Turf Club in St. Paul. It'll be great to have you out. It's going to be a good show.
Come screw off,
give you
man.
my word. Come, bring that screw-off hat, and we'll get some work done together. What do you say?
Sounds good.
Right on. Congrats.
Sounds good,
Thank you both, gentlemen, for
Thanks,
calling
Don.
in and playing.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
It was a good match.
We just met the king of St. Paul right there.
The sound you make when you're chewing a carrot? What's wrong with you?
Well, we learned much today.
It's such a nice man, be so cruel. He's got an alter ego. It's called Beat the Toaster. It just when you said that, literally nothing came to my mind. I think I would have skunked that one.
Something will pop in later today, I'll bet.
I'll be mulling it over. I'm going to Google it. Well, Don did well with what he had.
It's as always. It's worth the wait every Friday to get to Beat the Toaster.
Yeah,
I always enjoy it. It's Prince's birthday today. Prince Rogers Nelson, born on this day in 1958. Man, oh man, the Sign of the Times tour, like 1987.
Yep.
Great album.
Coolest thing ever. Yeah, the album's ridiculous. Live, the band comes out at the Omni in Atlanta, and they're just delivering, just from the first downbeat, you just realize, as always, like, this is a different level type of gig. The place is going berserk. I mean, 13,000 people, whatever it holds for a concert, and it's just unified love and release of just everything. I mean, it's a really magical moment. 3 or 4 songs in before it hits me, the bass player, everyone's wearing pants, and down everyone's leg, their name is sewn in. Like, Prince is wearing pants that say Prince. All right. And Sheila eats Sheila, and everyone. The bass player's pants just say bass. And when I saw that, I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Everyone else has a name, and that guy just says bass. And I mentioned that I saw him at Paisley Park, which plenty of people did over the years, but for me, not living here at the time, it was so special in 1994. And middle of the show, he's already played guitar, he's played bass, he's played some synth. And Michael Bland, this was the new power generation, not the revolution. So this is 94.
Yeah, right.
Michael Bland, local, legendary, ridiculously spectacular, great drummer of all time, is sitting at his kit, and he's just delivering. Just so the groove is so deep, and I'm again, same thing, but in a different, not a huge arena, but at Paisley Park, a private party, not a tour gig, but the same idea. The whole room is completely as one, like taking this all in, and it's just wave after wave of genius, everything washing over us, and then Prince puts his guitar down, and he walks over and stands next to the drum kit where Michael Bland is just. And Prince is just standing right next to him, and he's like nodding, like, yeah. And then Prince with his left hand like points to the floor, and this trap door opens, and a second drum kit comes out of the bottom. And I have goosebumps right now. So, and I am right up to the front. I am as close as anyone in the house to the band, and that drum kit popped up, and I literally was like.
The Beatles.
I was the girl at Ed Sullivan, and he sat down at that kit, and then they started trading fours, which is 4 bar. I solo, then you solo, then they went back and forth.
Oh, God.
And I gotta say, I think Michael. You got to let the boss win. It was one of those kind of like, I can't. She goes,
sure.
I mean, and I love Prince, but there's no way in hell that Michael couldn't have twisted him up if he really. But it was just so badass. Prince is a great drummer. Yeah. But Michael's just one of those other cats. But they went back and forth, and then and at some point the bass comes back in, and then the whole band falls in around him, and then they're just laying down this groove together. And I mean, just talking about it now, 30 years and 3 months or 4 months later, I mean, I can still see it. I can smell that room. Everything about that was so phenomenal. But just him just pointing at the floor and then whoop, there's another drum kit. I was just like,
what a move.
It's just the baddest thing ever, man.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about that guy. So great.
Just to watch him perform. Yeah, I wonder if it was that tour. I had a roommate in college that was Gonzo for Prince. He was from Florida. He'd come up to play some ball in South Dakota and was Gonzo for Prince. And they road tripped it to Minneapolis to see him. And it was late 80s. I bet it was probably that tour. But I didn't go. It was hunting season. So I skipped out and didn't make the trip. And I wish I would have. I did end up seeing him later. He went through that kind of religious, spiritual thing. I went to a show. I was like, it's not really the Prince I wanted to see. I wanted to see more 80s Prince. But he always did it his way and a hell of a performer. But you think back, you mentioned the Super Bowl halftime show that he came out, Can You Make It Rain Harder? Yeah. And he just had the twins, they called him, out there with him to do that amazing show. But then I think about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremony with Tom Petty, George Harrison salute.
While my guitar gently
weeps. And he comes out. And when you see legends standing on stage staring at Prince like fans, like with their jaws agape, or whatever. It's, I mean, within his own industry, he was kind of considered untouchable. Elton John knew a thing or two about performing, called him the greatest performer of all time.
2014, I believe, he was on Saturday Night Live with the Third Eye Girl. He and two or three women, just a female band, and they came out and they played like I want to say it was 3-song medley of new music. But it was like a 12-minute musical hit on SNL. And if you've never seen that, just pull it up. Okay. It's the same thing. You're like, wait, how did I miss this? It's one of the coolest things. And for a show, Saturday Night Live, that's had legendary and iconic musical performances, that's one of them. It's mind-boggling. And it was at a time when the show was, everyone's, SNL's old, and who's really paying attention, and does the music really matter, blah, blah, blah. That's one of those where it's like, it was like being a kid in 1979 and seeing Devo to me. Right. I watched it, and I was just like, what? I can't believe this guy is still out doing these sort of things.
That's his birthday. I might YouTube me some Prince later and, settle into the recliner and check it out.
Certainly do a lot worse. I would imagine that on Friday, June 21st, you'll hear some Prince songs on the KQ Karaoke Cruise, because why wouldn't you? Who doesn't want to sing some Prince tunes?
Let's go crazy,
baby. We're going to be out there, the KQ Karaoke Cruise, Paddleford Riverboats. We're going to have 2 karaoke stages, drinks with the KQ crew, free food from Lucky's 13 Pub. You can pick up tickets right now at 92kqrs.com. I am here to say this is a fun night, so you need to pick up tickets while they are still available. Sponsored by Alexander Exteriors and Dennis Kirk. And a whole different side of the world of music, there's the band Fish from Vermont. Their generation's Grateful Dead or whatever, and they just did a run of dates at the Sphere in Las Vegas. Not like U2, it wasn't 40, it was only a handful. But one Fish fan is in all sorts of trouble because he is a Fish fan. It's like Fish fans do pretty much 2 things. They listen to Fish and this, and he's in trouble for this. And I'll tell you what this is. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS. The KQ Morning Show is back. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Paul Stanley, rock and roll! I have wasted many minutes of my life just listening to hit those YouTube clips of his banter from the mic. It never, ever gets to. I'm never tired of hearing him just say that stuff from, does anybody know what time it is?
Oh, man. And he uses the same ones year after year, where he did. How many Kiss shows I've seen over the years going back to in my early 20s, I think the first time I saw him. But yeah, and he'll do the same ones over and over again. But
I like when he says, anybody out there having any alcohol?
Cold gin, baby.
The only person who would ever say something about, are you guys enjoying some alcohol, is a guy who's not drinking.
Yeah,
it's just so funny. But for what it's worth, a lovely guy. I mean,
it seems like
I've interviewed him a few times. I've met him on 2 occasions, very briefly. Once where he was told, "Oh, this is Steve Gorman. He's in the Black Crowes," and he literally is like, "Hey, man, your feel on that second record on side 2." I mean, he's an encyclopedia. Knows every record. Every musician I've ever met who met Paul Stanley, they go, "He started talking about my records. Like he knows everything about every band. He's a rock fanatic. Stays very current with all the new releases.
Yeah.
I mean, he loves music. And that was really nice. But the first time I met him, it was not a situation like that at all. I was at a 7-Eleven in Los Angeles with my son, who was about 3. And we were waiting. We were going to go get a Slurpee. And it was the make your own, self-serve Slurpee machine by this point. And as I'm walking up to the Slurpee machine, I'm like, who's that guy in the vest with no shirt on underneath it with like military medals on it?
In LA,
vest?
that could be a lot of different people.
And then I was like, oh my God, that is Paul frickin' Stanley there. And his son was with him, who was probably 11 or 12.
I like that was just his casual wear out with his kid.
A vest, like a nice dress, like a vest from a 3-piece suit, but no shirt on. It was
with
just the
army
vest.
medals.
And with like medallions and stuff. And I looked up and his kid's pouring his Slurpee and Paul looks back and I said, hey, how's it going? He goes, how you doing, brother? And like handshake. I'm like, that's Paul Stanley. And he looked down at my son, who again was like 3, and he goes, are you going to get a Slurpee? And Connell's like, uh-huh. And he goes, that's great. And he just started chatting him up. And it was the sweetest moment. And I'm like, this is not at all like there was no reason to do this other than he just wanted to talk to a kid and he got him to smile, gave him the high five, fist bump, the whole
That's awesome, yeah.
And then he said, what's your name? And then this is my son and this is his name. He goes, who? I said, Steve Paul. I'm like, yeah, hey man, how are you? He was the nicest guy in the world.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
And then they walked out of the 7-Eleven and they got into his Rolls Royce and drove away. I was
as you do.
As you do when you're Paul Stanley. So Kiss's End of the Road tour, December 2nd in New York, their final show. And we talked about it here, and I'm sure people are aware. When they finished that night, they showed for the first time on a big screen at Madison Square Garden their avatars. They have announced they're going to only continue as avatars, and not a lot of people were thrilled with it.
Yeah, I watched the video. It was a YouTube video of someone recording the stage shot. I saw a better one later, and I thought it needs some work.
It definitely needs some work. And Paul Stanley is very aware of those comments and very aware of the general response. And here's Paul Stanley explaining what's going on.
Not what you saw. It was a double-edged sword because we were showing people the avatars in their infancy, and they look and will look nothing like that. They will be mind-bogglingly realistic. And the idea is not to do a Kiss concert. We want to create something that's a go-to and a must-see for everybody. It's Kiss and Cirque du Soleil and everything you can imagine on steroids. It will really cross that bridge of what's real and what's not.
I'm still
Yeah.
I'm still shocked. I would have bet the farm that they were going to menudo themselves, like they were going to replace themselves with younger versions. Because there's a guy out there. Okay, look, Journey got a singer from a YouTube clip, a kid from the Philippines who sounds just like Steve Perry. There's a Paul Stanley out there. There's a Gene Simmons out there. There somewhere in the world, there's a much younger guy who looks enough like Paul but can play and sound just like him and could do the moves. And I would say similarly for Gene, you've got a much younger Tommy Thayer, the guitarist and the drummer. They could stay, get the new Gene and Paul. I just thought for sure that's what they were going to do,
and
just keep that thing rolling.
They already have the mini Kiss out there. I don't know if you guys I saw them out in Sturgis, the mini Kiss.
Oh yeah,
I came out and play, and it was the place was going crazy. And
of course they were.
And I thought, what a novelty! How weird, how kooky. But when in Sturgis, you're just going to enjoy it as it comes. We did some midget bowling out there too, and I only say that because that's what they call it, and they come to you and say, could you, he had a little harness on his back. He's like, hey, could you throw me down this slip and slide? Do it, man, $5. I'm like, dude, I feel uncomfortable doing this. And then my drunk buddy did it and kind of hit the angle and he went off the slip and slide into the gravel and he was still stoked about it. But mini Kiss out there. But no, these guys are going full on Avatar. Well, you knew they weren't going to let it die.
No, of course not. That could never happen. I just thought, but as I hear myself say this, I really thought they would replace themselves. But Yeah, even as great as the replacements might be, it's not Gene, it's not Paul.
Right.
I never saw Kiss as a kid. When I would have loved it, 5th grade, Destroyer, Love
Right.
Gun era,
Oh, my God.
I would have given anything to see them.
Anything.
I did have a ticket in my hand to see them in 78 or 79, and I was not allowed to go because of a bad grade. I was just struggling in an algebra, pre-algebra or something. I don't know. Or maybe it was simply because it was a school night, but my buddy and his Mike Joyner and his sister had a ticket for me. Evansville, Indiana, we're going to see Kiss, and then I was told, no, you're not going. And a legendary night that I missed because one of the spotlight operators, a guy right over the stage, up on the truss, the light truss, he wasn't strapped in and he fell.
Oh, yeah.
And he landed right at Paul Stanley's feet.
Oh, my God.
Between songs. He wasn't killed, but he was really messed up.
Wow.
It wasn't like 60 feet. It was like a 25 or 30 foot drop, and he pounded. And Paul Stanley, of course, brilliantly said, "Looks like somebody's been drinking too much cold gin." And they went into cold gin.
Oh my gosh!
And,
You stepped over him.
Just as two other crew members ran out, and just picked the guy up and carried him off. Probably, I mean, you're not supposed to move someone in that state. They just picked him up. Get his hands, get his feet. Probably made it worse. But I missed that show. The same guy offered me a ticket to see The Who in Cincinnati. Also missed that show, and that was the night of the Stampede. The two tickets in my hand that Mike Joyner put, I could have seen two pretty crazy nights. A young, impressionable Steve Gorman might have been a very different person had he been at either of those.
The Who ticket, that could have cost you
Mike
your
and his
life.
sister were right in the scrum. Neither one of them fell, but they were completely getting knocked around. 14, I think, died, maybe. Crazy. And the band didn't know anything about it. They played the show. Their management knew, and they said, if we don't play, there's going to be a riot. So they went ahead. The band was told after their performance that had happened.
In a day when I was pretty young, obviously, and wasn't watching the news, and the news cycle just wasn't happening. You know how I found out about that? The WKRP special episode. I'm like, what, is this real? And they're like,
that's right.
Because they put the disclaimer up before the show, this really happened. And they kind of give a little, I'm like, wait, what's going on? And there wasn't a laugh in the show.
Yeah. My daughter had a cheer competition in that same arena about 5 years ago, and we were, right in Cincinnati. And you just walk up, it's all I thought about the whole day. There was not. There was a stampede to get the hell out of there. One man stampede, me. The Who and Kiss. Speaking of the Who and Kiss, both listed at one time or another as the loudest band ever.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
The Who in 1976. There's always reports of the loudest. This one is the one that nobody ever denies or tries to say they're exaggerating. The Who were measured in 1976 at 126 decibels. That was from a distance of 100 feet from the speakers. Wow. 126 decibels is, that's airline engine, that's gunshot, that's crazy, crazy levels of volume.
In your ear, yeah, no kidding.
Kiss claimed to be the loudest band ever. In 2009, they were playing. Where was this show? I want to say it was in Ottawa, at a Blues Fest gig. The word was they hit 136 decibels.
I've been to some Kiss shows where, in fact, I interviewed Gene Simmons before one of the shows, and he said, we're going to try and make this the loudest concert ever. We really like this little civic center you have here in Sioux City, Iowa.
Really?
And Brad, we're going to make, kept calling me Brad, and Brad, we're going to make this, I think, the loudest show ever. And it was, all you want is louder at that age. When you're in your 20s, your teens, you just want louder is better.
Yep.
But I remember being at that show and being a little uncomfortable, thinking this is the definition of literally ear splitting.
Kind of silly.
Yeah, so crazy loud.
In 2011, Foo Fighters were playing Auckland, New Zealand at the Western Springs Stadium. Let's see this. I'm reading this. The effects of their bass frequencies, along with fans jumping up and down, meant the ground was shaking 3 times per second in a rhythmic motion. The signal, similar to a volcanic tremor, registered 3 whatever on the seismic meters. So the earthquake meters were picking up a Foo Fighters gig, is what that comes down to.
Again, I've seen them in smaller venues, powerfully loud.
I do not go to Foo Fighters gigs without earplugs.
Yeah.
That's the loudest band I've ever seen. I've seen them several times, but there was a show in Memphis and then one in Nashville in the last 10, 12 years among the times I've seen them, where both times I would walk out, I'm at the soundboard, and I'm looking at the sound man, and I'm like, is this intentional? Like, do you not hear? Like, it was just, I mean, it sounded like a machine gun, just blasting, and I just pulled out the earplugs. I was like, I can't make any sense of this without earplugs.
Probably have your earplugs ready when they come to Target Field this summer. But if you were, I know you live downtown, from where you live, I don't know, a mile and a half or mile, less a mile from Target Field, you'll just be able to sit out on the front step and hear it just fine.
Yeah, no, I'm sure of that. So those, the loud thing too. Led Zeppelin was accused of having played at 130 decibels back when just in 1969, that long ago. But that one's not quite. That's not confirmed. It's just one of those, urban myths you hear about.
I think I read after that Who gig, I forget exactly, but the Guinness Book of World Records doesn't measure that anymore. That's why it's a little bit of a mystery these days because it's been so deemed unsafe. Guinness Book of World Records quit measuring that. I forget when. I want to apply it to the Who concert back in the 70s, but that might not be accurate.
The band Phish just did a series of shows, a handful of shows, I should say, at the Sphere. So the Sphere opened in Vegas last year. U2 was the first artist. They did 40 nights over a few months' time. Huge success. And now the Dead & Company are in the middle of their run. But in between those two, Phish showed up for a hot minute and just did, I think, 3 or 4 shows. It wasn't a whole lot. So if you know anything about Phish, you know that it's a very much a jam band. A lot of songs that go on for 20 minutes. Some amazing visuals. Phish has always had great stage production, tremendous light shows. They've always really gone way above the average band in any genre for what they present visually. So the Sphere is just an incredible opportunity for them. They have a light guy that Phish calls their lighting director, the 5th member of the band. He's been with them, Chris Kuroda. He's been with them forever. And on a time when Phish was not touring, Kuroda came out and did lights for the Black Crowes in 2005. And literally, the difference is when you get a guy who's an artist running your lights, it can be the same light rig, but then this guy just stepped in and it was like, even on stage, we could tell. We're like, man, this guy is like, he's moving with the music.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. And Black Crowes fans will come up to me and still go, man, those shows with Kuroda were amazing. I'm like, the light guy. They know, but it's really a testament to how this guy's brilliant. And so if you know Phish, you know that the songs go on forever. You know that the lights are amazing. Oh, and you also know that Phish fans are frickin' stoned. I mean, that is a pot-smoking, gummy-ingesting fan base to die for. A fan of the band was at the Sphere, and he somehow got an entire bong smuggled in to the venue. Now, there is a very clear rule at the Sphere, and in fact, all MSG venues, that includes Madison Square Garden, Radio City, there's a bunch this company owns, you may not smoke. You can't have a vape, you can't have a cigarette, there's no smoking allowed.
I mean, are they pretty strict about it?
This is how strict they are. This particular fan posted a video of himself, and he said, first bong rip ever at the Sphere. He's standing in the aisle in the arena, and he takes a giant hit off this bong and then blows a Hindenburg size, a blimp's worth of smoke comes out of his mouth, and people are cheering. And he posted it himself, and he tagged the Sphere. Someone at the Sphere is going to see it.
All right. Okay. I'm looking at it. He's not hiding it. I mean, by the way, this is like an 18, 20-inch bong. Right. I thought, maybe he snuck it in like it was pieced together, and here, you take I'll take the bowl in. And
tower.
But no, it looks like how did they not catch this thing going in? And he's standing up and sort of showing off.
Right. Very much so. Very proud of himself. So the video, it kind of went viral. The man has received a letter because he was identified. He got a letter from the MSG company saying that he, quote, knowingly violated the guest code of conduct by visibly smoking inside the venue. The word visibly is interesting. It's not visibly. He wants, it's not like, hey, we saw you. It's like, no, you made sure we saw you. He has been banned from the Sphere Madison Square Garden, Radio City Music Hall, all MSG buildings now have this guy's information, and he is no longer allowed to attend. If I'm the band Fish, I'm hiring this guy.
Yeah,
I'm putting him on the road crew when we play those venues.
Yeah.
You gotta sneak him in. You gotta give him that bong, and he's just got to be able to do this everywhere.
He's a mascot.
Not as long as I thought. Actually, now that I look at him, maybe a foot long. But you know what? Put him on stage and let him rip bong hits in states where it's recreationally legal. You know, get this guy in the venue.
A Fish fan being banned for a bong rip. It's like. I mean, it's like it's the silliest. It's like banning a guy at a Kiss gig because he put on the makeup.
Yeah.
It's just what you do.
Well, that, and if you're, charging a couple of $100, or I'm sure the tickets are more than that for the Sphere, but we know that we all know where ticket prices are at these days. And you can't pass around a doob at the show. Come on.
Pretty strong, man. Pretty strong. By the way, the one thing I forgot, I almost buried the lead. His username on social media is Acid Farts. Acid_farts. Mr. Farts, as I'm going to call him, he did upload that video himself. He was asked, how did you sneak that bong in? And he said, it's a trade secret.
Oh, I hope he wasn't muling it.
But here's the thing. He sees this as a badge of honor to be banned. Mm-hmm. He wants to put a picture of himself with that bong on a T-shirt to raise money. Fish's lead singer Trey Anastasio has founded an addiction treatment center, and he wants to raise money for that by selling shirts of him ripping the bong. It's a bit of a dog chasing its own tail with a little hint of rabies on the side. There's something about that doesn't quite add up to me. But it's a good thought. Like, I'll put this on a T-shirt and sell it.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, I mean, own it. If you can't get out of it, get into it. Can't
get out of it, get into it. If you just, by the way, if you forgot that Trey Anastasio was popped he was arrested this is back probably almost 20 years ago, if not 20 years ago. I'd have to Google it, but if memory serves, probably the most drugs ever in the trunk of a rock star's car when they got him. It was one of those like, dude, you really, and he did.
Was the rear end riding a little low?
It was a pretty vicious wake-up call for a man who was definitely in need of one. But yeah, it was just one of those, and it was like in Vermont where he's from. So of course I immediately imagine it's the Super Troopers pulling him over, and all hilarity breaking free. But apparently there was not much funny about it. But these things happen.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, I don't think I've mentioned this today, which is that we are going to be joined in studio. Pierre Douglas is a comedian. He'll be at Laugh Camp tomorrow night, and he's going to come into studio in about 45 minutes. We'll have a good time catching up with Pierre. And also, in case you missed it, today is Prince's birthday. KQ Talk and text line 651-989-ROCK. A few people have shared texts. Everyone's got a Prince story in the Twin Cities, it seems.
Yeah.
If you got a Prince story, feel free to shoot it in on the text line. Even if you were on a city bus and you saw him walking down the street, we'll take it all. But in the meantime, there's a big. So Prince's birthday today. Oh, that's right. And the final day for a TV, honest to God, kind of a legend. I mean, we were laughing about it, but the more we think about it, it's like, hey, guy certainly earned his keep. We'll tell you of the changing TV game show landscape in just a few minutes. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Friday, June the 7th. It is Prince Rogers Nelson's birthday. On this day in 1958, the state of Minnesota was bestowed his royal badness, I believe. I saw him referenced many times. Mm-hmm. Just nobody on the planet ever quite like Prince. A lot of texts on the KQ Talk and text line, stories about Prince comments. This one from Christine. Prince, 3121 at the bar in Rio in Las Vegas. We caught him on the last day of his residency. Babyface hopped on stage, then Wayne Brady, then Lenny Kravitz, and 2 of the guys from Earth, Wind & Fire.
Oh.
Was it worth it to wait 3 hours for him to show up? Hell yes. Yeah. We now travel frequently to see bands, and all the people we love live never know when they'll be gone. Dang. Isn't that the truth, man?
That's cool.
Yeah, if you ever saw Prince, then you absolutely know there was nothing like that guy at all. Nothing, as the song says, compared to Prince.
Yep.
Do we have a caller, Tony?
Yeah, we got a couple. Let's start off with Chris from Coqueta with his Prince tale.
Chris, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Great, brother. What do you got for us?
It was many years ago. It was just before he filmed Purple Rain. We were at a buddy's father's garage mechanic shop hanging out, and we hear this music across the highway, Highway 7 and 100.
Mm-hmm.
So we buzz over that way. We go, that's Prince, man. We go over there, and we find this warehouse the music's pouring out of. We scurry up the gutter system on this 2-story warehouse.
Nice.
And we pull the skylight off while we're up there, and there they are playing right underneath us for 2 hours.
Wow.
That's great.
Just like a band rehearsal. They're just doing their thing.
It was rehearsal. It was just nights before he was at First Avenue for the film.
Oh,
for filming
wow.
Oh, my gosh.
And then chick caught us climbing back down, scurrying down those. And he was a big son of a gun, but he didn't run very fast. He didn't run very fast.
Big
So
Chick
we made it out
Huntsberry,
of
the
there.
bouncer.
Oh, is it?
We made
Okay.
it out of there, jumped into a buddy's Renault Fuego Turbo, and chased his BMW, chased that BMW at 120 miles an hour down Highway 7. We made it to Calhoun, and they just disappeared, man.
Oh, wow.
Man.
You know?
Yeah, that's a legendary story, man. That's fantastic that you were able to get a sneak peek of, Prince as he was about ready to explode onto the scene worldwide.
It was, and it was amazing. It was quite the experience.
That's awesome. Thank you for the call, man. Thanks for sharing that.
All right, you guys have a good day.
You got it.
Yeah, born here, lived here, died here. A homer, he really was.
Yeah.
And if you were, I'm a hard rocker, Prince, whatever, you didn't diss him if you were a Minnesotan. I didn't know many people that did, and I know so many hard rockers because he was a homer.
This text just came in. I had the honor of rehearsing with him for the Batman soundtrack when he was dating Kim Basinger.
Oh, that's right.
That'll certainly work. Here's another one. I saw Prince in the early 2000s on Epstein's Island. Oh, wrong Prince.
Oh.
We got another caller, Tony?
Yeah, from Matt from the fair, your buddy Zepp. He's got a Prince tale.
Oh, yeah.
Matt.
Hey, Zepp, how's it going?
Going well, Matt. Good to talk to you again. I remember you met Matt, Steve. He brought out your book and signed it when we were out there last year at the fair at the corner of Cooper and Lee.
I do remember that.
Yep, it's right next to all my other signed books. That's a great book.
Oh, thank you, brother. Well,
Hey, so back in the mid-'90s, I was a delivery driver for a millwork company out in Chanhassen, and Prince was doing some work on his house, and I just happened to be delivering a load of trim one day around noon, and I was standing talking to some of the workers who were sitting around on the grass having lunch, and all of a sudden I see these 2 big bodyguards come walking out of the house carrying this big sheet. And you could tell if somebody was walking behind the sheet. And I asked the workers, I'm like, what's going on there? And they said, well, every day when Prince leaves, he walks behind that sheet to his limo so he doesn't have to look at us working on his house.
It's such an eccentric. I would have thought he'd come over and see you guys. He loves trim, I heard.
Yeah.
Sorry, Matt. I'm sorry, buddy.
But no, it was it was amazing. He walked all the way to his limo, got in, and then they held up the sheet till he left.
Such a kooky eccentric, wasn't he? Just for no reason whatsoever. Yeah, I mean, he was a public. You'd see him driving around Chanhassen. People would see him spinning around, leaving church or something like that. But walking to his limo, he didn't want to see you guys working on the house.
Yep, I thought that was pretty wild.
That's
and I told
fantastic.
Other people that story that knew him, and they said, "Yeah, that sounds about right."
Yeah, sure. Well, Matt, thanks for calling, brother. It's good to talk to you.
Thanks, Matt.
Hey, good to talk to you guys. See you.
When I saw that gig at Paisley Park, it was February, so it was freezing, and we're all leaving at 4:35 a.m. at the end of the night, and there's just the hawk was out, the wind was just knock you sideways, and of course it's with the wind chill, however many below. It's one of those crazy walks. And it's about a 20, 30 yards from the door to where the car would pick you up. And they had just that sheet story reminded me. He had like house security, and they had these giant, like bearskin thick, huge blankets. They'd wrap everybody up in one to walk you to your car. And so it slowed the process down, but it was kind of necessary too. It was like, you could die on this walk. So here, we're going to put this bear on your body, like completely cover you up. It was the whole night was just like you're on someone else's planet. That's what it felt like.
Someone got a call in Minnesota. How many bear rugs can you round up? We'll take them all. Yeah.
Someone texted in, I saw Prince buying a pack of Fruit of the Loom underwear at the Target in Monticello.
Prince was buying Fruit of the Loom underwear at Target. That's crazy.
Jim wrote, saw Prince and Kim Basinger at Rupert's quite often.
Oh, yeah.
What's Rupert's?
Rupert's it's a music venue, big music venue, and you would have the Tower of Power out there. I went out and saw the Tower of Power at Rupert's. I think I did a gig there for New Year's Eve one time, but they still around? I don't know. I was looking at Tony's fielding some calls for us right now, but good old Rupert's. I think it is. Is it Ryder? I don't know. I know. I put you.
Never heard of Rupert's. I don't know. It's got to be some other venue now.
You're a rock chick.
I remember for years hearing about the Black Album. I've never heard it. There's bootlegs. We got the Black Album. It recorded in 1987. It was supposed to have an all-black cover. And the word was it's going to be his hardest and most aggressive album to date. And just before it was released, he pulled it back. And he said the story was that he had a bad experience with some ecstasy, one that led him to believing it would be an act of evil to unleash such dark-sounding music upon the world.
What?
And then, of course, 7 years later, in 1994, he officially did release the Black Album, and the world was fine.
Yeah.
It did not end things for the world.
I didn't think it was that dark. By the way, just get back to Rupert's. Yeah, the R Factor. They used to always play out there. That was it. In Golden Valley. But I don't know if it doesn't look like it's still there anymore. All right. Anyway.
Questlove, the band leader for the Jimmy Fallon Tonight Show, the leader of that band, The Roots, a phenomenal drummer and all-around great guy, shared an experience of being invited to go after-hours roller skating with Prince. He said Prince had a briefcase out on the floor. He clicked the lock and opened it and took out the strangest, most singular pair of skates I have ever seen. They were clear skates that lit up, and the wheels sent a multicolored spark trail into your path.
Custom made.
He took them out and did a big lap around the rink. He goes, man, he could skate like he could sing.
Wow. He could play ping pong apparently too. Jimmy Fallon. Remember, he shared the story on his show. I got about a minute of it here. It was a rather long story, but Prince challenged him to a game of ping pong. He's like, are you serious?
Yeah.
And so, his people got a hold of him, and he shows up at this warehouse, and they had, big, huge space, but in the middle of that space were 4 curtains hanging, creating a small room, and he steps through the curtains, and they're like, there's the ping pong and 2 paddles. He walks over, and they said, just wait. And then all of a sudden, Prince walks in, and it's on.
He's got these eyes. If you ever meet him, he's a funny guy. And, if you ever met him, he's charming and funny and had these kind of, I don't want to say like Bambi eyes, but kind of like doe eyes and just like big eyes. Like, you ready to do this? So then I go, let's start off. So he hits the first one, he goes, and it goes right off the table, and he scores. He goes, one's it. Talking smack now. He's talking smack now. I start getting mad. I'm very competitive. So I'm like, let's go, Prince. Let's do this, man. I don't care. Let's go for it. I don't care about the Bambi eyes. Let's do this. And so we're playing, and I'm not that great at ping pong at all. So it's probably 10-20. It's his serve, and he goes, game point. I go, here we go, man. And he hits his ball, and it's like slow motion, and it's turning, and I could see it turning, and flames are coming off it, and it hits where it goes flying, but he scores the point. It hits the edge of the table. He wins the game. The ball goes flying. I go back to get the ball. I'm looking for it. I get the ball, and I go, and he's gone.
And he's gone.
Fantastic. Prince, by the way, no love for the bootleggers. He made a habit at times. He would walk into record stores, like mom and pop shops, and they would have bootleg Prince albums in the bins, and he would just walk in and go find all of them, pick all of them up, and just walk out of the store with them.
Oh,
and if a store owner was said, "Hey man, you got to pay for those," he'd like, "No, I don't. No, these are going in the dumpster, dude."
Yeah,
he did not like the bootleggers.
His
out
prerogative,
there,
I guess.
Yeah, it was true. He had his whole thing going. My son is 23 years old, and he has gone back and a couple different Prince phases, over time. But it was when he discovered the Charlie Murphy on Chappelle show, that Prince skit where he's talking about playing basketball with Prince. When my kid saw that, he was probably 12 or 13, and he laid on the floor and laughed, and it didn't even get. It was funny without even really knowing who Prince was.
Yeah.
And then that led him to go dig in to learn about Prince. And then, of course, the more you learn about Prince, the funnier that gets.
Oh, yeah.
That is one of those Chappelle shows still hold up. They're still so funny. But the Charlie Murphy stuff, and especially the Prince story, my God, that was I remember seeing that online the first time and just dying. I couldn't believe something could be that funny.
I know. I have that David Chappelle talking about it, and I'm sort of lost in my audio right here for the moment, looking for that. But basically, the gist of it was he was on a talk show, and they said because Prince then released an album and used Dave Chappelle as Prince on the cover of the album. He didn't talk to Dave Chappelle. He didn't ask him if he could do it. And Dave Chappelle has a funny comeback for that. Like, what am I going to do? Sue Prince for using a picture of me? Here he is. Here it is right here. The audio.
One of the impressions you did on Chappelle's show that always made everyone laugh, made me laugh, is Prince. But even cooler than that, it made Prince laugh, and he liked it so much that his last release, you were the cover of his single. Gosh, that makes me so happy that happened.
Like, you make fun of Prince in a sketch, and he'll just use you in his album cover.
He uses your own joke against yourself.
That's exactly. What am I going to do? Sue him for using a picture of me dressed up like it was impossible. It's
genius.
That's checkmate right there.
That's checkmate.
Oh, man.
Game blouses.
That's it. Game blouses. That's exactly right.
Oh, yeah.
Man, Prince was about as good as it ever got. I'll tell you that right now. Hey, tomorrow at 2 p.m., we're going to head up to Anoka. We're gonna be pub crawling around Anoka, Minnesota tomorrow. We're gonna start at Serums at 2:00, and we'll hit a few other spots along the way. Just come on out, man. It's gonna be a beautiful day. We're gonna take it in the scene. We're gonna have ourselves a good time. Hey, someone just texted in and said, "Hey, you guys going to see Robert Plant tonight?" I forgot. Robert Plant, Alison Krauss.
That's sneak by. Oh yeah, they're doing
What's
that
that over in Wisconsin, right? Might have to look into that. No, it's down. It's Mystic.
Yeah, you're thinking of the Somerset gig. That's later. But yeah, we're at the Mystic.
I think.
Probably.
Yes, can confirm. Mystic Lake Amphitheater. It is sold out though.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, next
not
time.
to Steve Gorman.
Yeah, no, nothing's sold out for Steve.
There's a fence he can hop.
Damn straight there is. You know that. In Nashville, Allison she's my neighbor. We live on the same street.
Oh, you had mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the work they do. I'm not going to lie and tell you I'm a big fan. I own a lot of it, but when I catch a tune, it's good stuff.
She's from another planet. Talk about talent-wise, man. Her singing and her playing is, that bluegrass people ain't kidding around. That is hardcore.
Bring it.
They work very, very hard, and she grew up in that. Second only to... I think she has the most Grammy Awards of anyone beyond some classical composer.
Oh, really?
Or maybe the most female Grammy. She's got over 30 Grammys. That's all I know about Alison Krauss. Kind of crazy. Hey, so if you're so that's tonight. I'm just now realizing, and I'm thinking and talking in real time. Oh crap! I think I got to get out there.
And her neighbor, she keep a nice lawn.
Very nice. Yes, I've never seen her
do
any
washer
of that work.
out in the front yard or nothing like that.
Her son and my son met at like a summer basketball camp, right? At a school in town when they were little, and they had a good. They were complementary. They played well together.
Cool.
Good basketball run they had for a few years there. Hey, tomorrow at Laugh Camp Comedy Club, Pierre Douglas is going to be appearing. A local, very funny gentleman, and he is going to be in studio with us in just a few minutes. So hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Friday, June the 7th. Pierre Douglas is going to be at the Laugh Camp Comedy Club tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Pierre is a local comedian, and he's in studio right now. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Steve. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. We're up early, but I'm feeling good.
This is early?
This is early.
Man. Our day is almost done, dude.
Stop complaining.
Come on. Yeah. So you walked in. I said, hey, it's Prince's birthday. We're talking about Prince on the show. And you said, I got nothing.
I got nothing.
Nothing.
I got nothing. I have a Prince favorite song, but no stories.
Okay, what's the song?
I Want to Be a Lover.
That'll work.
And
That's early.
That's early. Here's why. Because he starts the song off with, I ain't got no money. And that's like the perfect thing to tell a woman right off the bat. You got to like me for me. That's the
reality check. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Don't
I'm
think it's
broke as a dog. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So that song came out way before you were born.
Way before.
That's all right.
But that's the one that resonates the most.
Yeah, that's a good one. They're all good. So you are this says real estate agent by day.
Yes.
Comic by night. Okay,
Yes.
those, I get that. But father of 4.
Yes.
4, and I have 2, and it just about killed me. How in the world do you handle 4 kids?
Well, my ex-wife and I started early.
Yeah.
We started early. So now, you get it done early. So now we're...
What are the ages of these 4 kids?
21, 19. The other 2, I don't really know.
Okay.
But
so they're not little kids.
But they're all almost out the door. So
gotcha. Oh, man. So you are, it's all in the rear view now.
Yeah.
Early, you started early, worked hard, and now it's all in front of you. Now you got your time
It's
again.
all my time.
I like that, early, because now everybody's having kids late. Even my friends, start having their kids late, like late 20s, early 30s, and they're in their 50s, and the kids are still around, and they're feeling it. I look back at it now and went, yeah, man, I wish I would have still been a young man when they got out of the house. I would have still had something to offer society, but they wore me down.
Now, was this a master plan, or is this just how it shook out?
It just shook out like that.
Yeah.
I'm glad it happened that way because, again, I can go on cruises by myself.
Yeah, right.
I don't got to go to the playground anymore. I'm excited.
Oh, those playgrounds, man. Some of the conversations you find yourself having with other parents, I'm like, why are we pretending to care about each other? Just stop talking to me. I'll stop talking to you. Let the kids fall a few times. We'll all get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was definitely the dad who, when I would see the kid go down and start to cry, I'd be like, oh, finally. Let's get out of here. Pick them up. Let's get the hell away from these people. This is making me crazy.
Yeah.
So you're, on one hand, you're very young, but you've been a dad for a long time, but comedy wasn't the original plan either, I guess.
No. My original plan was to be a tuxedo rental company.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Why? I don't know. But that was
you got. There's always people who need to rent a tux. There's a whole new bumper crop of kids every year coming to those proms and getting to weddings and stuff. So that was interesting. And then along the way, so how did it start? Were you always the guy that people said, hey, you're really funny, you're a class clown type? What's the story?
Yeah, I was always the funny kid. I was just cracking jokes. We call it roasting other kids, talking about them, things like that. And Twitter came out, and we happened to be the funny people on Twitter. Someone said, you should try comedy. I said, and I tried it, and I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
I fell in love with it, just being able to control energy and things like that.
Sure.
I love it.
Early Twitter was really just hilarious.
Yeah.
That's it's funny because my kids are both in college, and they look at Twitter as just this cesspool of anger and vitriol. And I'm like, yeah, but you should have been there when it started. It was because it was like all the comedians hopped on first.
Yeah.
When I first started looking at Twitter, I would just get all the one. I thought it was the funniest thing online. It was great.
It was the best.
So that's a pretty good spot. So yeah, if you were standing out on Twitter, you actually had some game. For sure. And but you're a local guy, so this all started in the Twin Cities.
Yep, in the Twin Cities.
And so first time you went up on stage, where was it?
The 400 Bar, which was over on like Cedar Avenue.
Sure. Yeah. Know it well,
yeah. So,
nerves?
Very nervous. Oh my goodness. I forgot all my material, so I went back to what I know, and I just talked about the whole audience for like 5 or 10 minutes.
Roasted them.
Just roasted them all. But it was a good time. Some local promoter put it on, so it was people I knew there. So
That's
I wasn't,
good.
It wasn't too bad, but
yeah.
So
growing up as a kid, you said you would roast all your friends. Nobody. I mean that kids roasting each other, it gets brutal fast.
It does.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope.
But I was respectful with it. I didn't get too because I can't fight that well. So I knew I knew a line.
You're all about self-awareness. I ain't got no money. I can't fight too well. That's good. I'm sensing a theme.
I had to learn how to fight. My son's 19 now, so I can't have him beating me up.
No,
so I just learned that. But back then it was no go.
That's pretty great. You learned to fight not so you could defend your son, but so you could kick his ass.
Absolutely.
That's important.
Absolutely.
Is he bigger than you?
He's taller than me now,
and so he thinks he's got. He thinks he's got you, doesn't he?
Yeah.
No, I still got the height. My son did not get all of my height, which I'm really appreciative of because we don't want to fight, but there's a lot of one-on-one basketball. And then he was probably 15, and it suddenly dawned on me. I was like, wait, I'm not going to win this game. He's actually going to beat me, and he was nowhere, and he was much smaller than me. But the quickness and the confidence, it was all there. And I, of course, should have been the proud dad, but I was like, oh no, I can't let this happen.
Yeah.
And we walked off the court, and I felt 4 feet tall. I was happy for him, but devastated. More because it just meant, oh, he's not a kid anymore. He's got me.
Yeah, ours was arm wrestling. I was going to get Dad in arm wrestling one of these days. We started arm wrestling when I was like a little kid, and he would never let you win, but he wouldn't slam me down. And then teenagers, I couldn't come close to him. I went off into the Army. Mm-hmm. I bulked up, played a little college ball, and I still didn't beat him until I was in my 40s. My freaking 40. Dad strength. That's a different kind of strength. He had me.
Old man strength is a real thing.
It is a real thing.
Pierre, what kind of dad were you? Were you the good cop or the bad cop? What was your? I mean, what would your kids say about you? As we're coming up on Father's Day.
I was definitely the good cop. I'm the fun parent.
I kind of got that vibe.
I'm not disciplining. Go to your mom for that. I'm not cooking. Go to your mom for that. I'm there for the basketball games, football games, and all the things fun. Other than that, I don't want to deal with it.
You got what's the breakdown, boys and girls?
2 boys, 2 girls.
2 boys, 2 girls.
Girl, boy, girl, boy.
Oh, nice. Girl oldest.
Girl's oldest.
That's
son's
good.
Youngest.
Yeah. Man, so you got the entire experience.
Yeah, and it's better now because I'm older and I have a little bit of money now, and so it works out. Like my youngest son is a drummer. He wants to be he wants to play drums in college. That's his thing. So just seeing him be completely different from the other kids is pretty cool. So then I don't have to I'm divorced, so I don't got to live there with him. So it's like, all right, go back to your mom.
Yeah, right. You don't want to be around a young drummer. No.
Doesn't playing drums in college, Steve, lead to not finishing college?
It did for me. I can tell you what. Just when they I was borrowing drums in college. I didn't have my own kit. When I dropped out, bought it, and then things happened afterwards. So what kind of music is he playing?
So whatever the band plays, he lives in Atlanta now, so it's more whatever it is down there. But he just plays that one drum or whatever the drum line does.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, so
drum
not
line.
necessarily a band, but just like drumline type.
Oh,
drum.
wow,
so,
cool,
man.
Interesting.
Oh, there's some drum lines in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Oh, golly, I was in Atlanta for a long time. That's fantastic. Are any of your kids funny? Like they take after you in that?
No, they suck.
They're really,
they're not funny.
Such a letdown.
That's the part I hate because they can't get out of that jam at school if they're not funny, and so they don't have that skill.
Yeah.
They all cry.
That's good. And they all cry. I did mention you are also a real estate agent by day. Your Instagram page is kind of half and half. I gotta think being a personable, funny guy can only help in that realm.
It does. It helps a lot. Because real estate, buying a home is a very daunting
it is.
feat. And so just being able to bring a little humor to it and just like calm them down, let them know that it's going to be all right. It's going to be fun while we're doing it, but you're going to spend a lot of money.
Yeah. First time especially.
Yeah.
You get those first time buyers, man, you got to talk them off a lot of ledges, I guess.
A lot of them, yeah. But again, bringing humor to it, and they know that my personality is one that isn't going to stress them out, I guess.
Sure.
I'm not going to press or push them to buy or do anything like that. We're going to enjoy this the whole way through. Come out to my show if you need to, or whatever it is. And so it helps a lot.
That's good. There is a show tomorrow night, June 8th, Laugh Camp Comedy Club, 8 p.m.
Yes.
Is this you got a lot of new material? How much of your material when you go up, like you said, your first time you just started riffing on the crowd. Do you still do a lot of that kind of stuff, or do you stick to the script?
I do not stick to the script.
No.
I know where I'm going to start, and wherever it happens from there, it happens.
Oh, that's great.
I like to have a good time. I like to make the audience a part of the show in a very good way. We're going to have that back and forth. There's going to be a lot of off-the-top thinking.
Yeah.
Life happens every day, and so I just try to bring life to the stage, talk about what we all relate to, things like that. So we have a good time. We have a good time.
Say, Pierre, you seem like a pretty chill guy. You're going to be over to Laugh Camp. They have a fantastic bar over there. If you're doing a lot of audience interaction, there have to be some people that get out of hand. Too much loudmouth soup, that kind of thing. How do you handle the people? Because you've got such an easy vibe to you, and you're saying we're going to have fun. But there are some people there that you have to deal with, I'm sure, that are not fun.
You know what? The good part about me is that I'm big. I'm not a little
yeah. I saw that too.
And so there's that intimidation factor. It's like, don't try it.
Yeah.
But again, I don't bring that energy out there. I don't come like with the bad spirit. I come
sure.
hype, let's have a good time. So I don't think I bring that energy for them to come to me with that energy. And they do got a great bar, so I get on stage and I'm already where I need to be.
Pierre Douglas is with us in the studio. You're wearing a White Sox hat. What's up with that?
It matches my shoes. I'm black.
Oh, okay. That's all right.
Black fashionable. The hat got to match the shoes.
That's of course. So you grew up in this area.
Yes.
Are you a sports fan?
I just became a Timberwolves fan.
Okay, like everybody.
Like everybody else. I was rolling with LeBron James before that.
Okay.
But I am now a newfound Timberwolves fan.
Yeah. It was
not
a
Vikings fan.
It was a fun season. You're not going with the Vikings?
No.
Do you have a different team?
Don't shoot me. I'm an Eagles fan.
Oh, that's okay. Got to be somebody. Eagles. Zep's a Steelers guy, man. You guys can hash out the Battle of Pennsylvania all day long.
How dare you, sir?
We've won some. We've got a trophy case. It's got hardware in it. It's just not a big empty glass case, So I get why you might jump ship. You've been in Minnesota a long time. You can only have your heart broken so many times.
Yeah, I never jumped. I was never on the ship, though.
Okay.
So I was a McNabb fan. I had like a small mini afro in high school.
Yeah.
So, I look like McNabb. I'm going to be an Eagles fan.
There you go.
And since 2020 or 20, whatever the year was, I've been there.
You've been there.
Yeah.
That works. As long as stay the course, man. No one can take it away from you that way. You had a club in St. Paul for a little while, Baddies, it says.
Yes.
That I would imagine opening a comedy club. It sounds like a great idea, and then it's just one complete no way I knew this was coming situation after another. I mean, any business is like that. A club's got to be hard work.
So here's what happened. It was very makeshift.
Yeah.
It was an entertainment space inside of an office building.
Okay.
But it was 3 comedians wanting to have their own space to do comedy, right?
Oh, gotcha.
So I worked for Delta Airlines, and my coworker said, I got this space with a stage built in. Do you want to rent it out? I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
I don't know about insurance. I don't know about codes. I don't know about anything.
Yeah.
I know how to tell jokes.
Yeah.
And so we get some chairs, get a sound system, get everything set up in there. We got caterers coming in to sell food, just makeshift, but having a good time. Right? And so we're doing this for maybe 4 or 5 months. Nobody knows about it. We're just having a good time. All of a sudden, Kevin Hart decided that he wants to come to the Twin Cities and film a Comedy Central TV show called Heart of the City.
Okay.
And now it comes out that, there's 3 young black comedians doing their own thing, have a comedy space. They don't know. It's in an office building, and it's very makeshift, right?
Yeah.
But they come, and they see it, and it resonates. Like, this is the grind. This is the hustle of comedy, And so they come, and they film the TV show there. Now we have exposure. Right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
St. Paul's like, what? We got a comedy club here? We didn't know about it. No, you didn't know about it. And so they come, we film a TV show. Now, we get this exposure, but we are very not safe.
Yeah.
We are not safe at all.
You are not prepared for what is coming.
Exactly. And so they say, you got to shut you down for now. But if you do these things, we can figure it out. But the guy we were renting from wasn't willing to help us do these things.
Right.
We had a nice 6-month run of just like this space of just a comedy club for us, having a good time. All the locals came. We just communed there. We enjoyed each other. We saw Kevin Hart. We Twin Cities on TV.
It's crazy. It's great.
I got an agent out of it, and
life
is good.
Yeah, life is good. Every musician that one day, if you have a career, you get a record deal. Back when record deals used to mean something, at some point, I know so many that would be like, man, I'm just going to start my own label.
Yeah.
Worst decision 99% of the time you can imagine, because what you think is it'll be just like this, but it'll be cooler because we won't have the guys in the suits getting in our way. And then everyone realizes, oh, those guys in the suits think of all those other details that as an artist you don't want to think about.
Yeah, they're very important.
Yeah, that helps. But real estate, there's a lot of things you got to keep up with. I mean, that's not like there's not winging it on your part. There's a whole lot of every deal. You got to remember you got to share information. You can't not check a box. There's a lot to keep up with.
That's the balance of me. Like, I can be very professional. I don't wear suits, but I can be very professional.
Yeah.
And in this space, you have to be very detailed and on top of your game.
Yeah.
But at the same time, even in comedy, you got to be very detailed on top of your game.
Sure.
But when you just have a personality again to just make it all enjoyable and lovable, it works. But real estate, I love real estate, man. Oh my goodness, I love it. I work with all first-time home buyers. That's my niche. And my team, the Signature Group, we've served maybe close to 1,000 first-time home buyers in the span of like 4 or 5 years.
That's incredible.
Predominantly black home buyers, so we're closing that home ownership gap. And so I love it, man.
That's great.
I love it. Shout out to the Signature Group.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, that's definitely that's a very real way of changing lives for sure.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's
Pierre,
fantastic.
can I ask you a real estate question?
Yes.
This came up just a couple of days ago. I'm talking to a friend, and he and his wife just purchased a place, and they found out at the closing that the lady that owned the place died in the house, and his wife. And he's like, well, whatever, but his wife is not digging it, and they said that you have to, when you show the house, you have to tell them that someone died in that home. Is that true, or does it have to be a crime?
Is the lady still in the house?
Yeah, well, her ghost is.
From what I know, it has to be a crime, I believe.
Okay.
But I would disclose that someone died
you
in
would.
there. Because, again, people come from very different backgrounds.
Sure.
That energy, that all these things, that, if you believe in those things, you want to know that, and you want to prepare your...
They closed, they've got the house. It was too late at that point, but now his wife's being... he's like, we should be excited about this, and she's like weirded out about it. And he asked me, I'm like, I don't know, but now here I am. I got a realtor in front of me. I asked, all right, Dan, if you're listening, there's your answer, man.
Hey, Dan, get some sage and
clean that house. Get an exorcist over there or something.
No kidding. Have you traveled much with comedy, or is it mostly in the Midwest?
I traveled a lot. I've been as far as Canada, as far as in the U.S. as Atlanta, L.A., and all in between.
Nice.
But I love those small Midwest towns with Iowa, North Dakota, South Dakota.
Really?
Those small places where a black man like me shouldn't be, but I'm there. I'm there.
Yeah.
And that's when you learn that we're all people. We're all here for one reason.
Yeah.
And we have a good time every single time.
Yeah. Online interaction's one thing. When you're in the room with somebody, a lot of that just fades away, and it's like, oh, hey, what's up, man?
What's up? Yeah.
That's good. That's all good. Pierre Douglas is at Laugh Camp Comedy Club tomorrow night, Saturday, June 8th at 8 p.m. Who is when you were first starting, back in 2012, like, who were your comic, North Stars? Who did you look at and say, was Kevin Hart on that list?
Kevin Hart's definitely on that list.
Yeah.
He's my GOAT.
That's
he's
the
my
guy.
greatest to me.
Yeah.
Because before I even knew comedy, he was coming up. And so I was like, this dude. And then to see where he is now and what he's made of it, he's my all-time.
I just saw a piece like on 60 Minutes with him last month. Talk about an empire. I didn't know 90% of that. I knew movies and I knew the specials, but man, that guy has got it going on.
You can't see a commercial without him.
No, it's really crazy. Incredible.
Yeah.
So who are some other guys? Are there local comics, or who's the short list of
my local? I love shouting out Greg Coleman. He's my local favorite.
He's funny.
We started around the same time, and he made Heart of the City in my space, so forget you, Greg.
Yeah.
But his style is kind of similar to mine. We're both just that bigger dude, but we're soft, lovable, great dudes.
Yeah.
But I just saw him crushing the comedy scene on the non-black side of things, and people loving him. I was like, I want to kind of figure that out.
Yep.
And so seeing Greg Coleman and even Ali Sultan kill it on that side of things was great. Adrian Washington is one of my other favorites. He's in St. Cloud, but now he's touring with Darnell Rawlings, who's from Dave Chappelle.
Yep.
So he's his opener now, and so just having him coach me and just teach me things and
it's
being
good
able to meet
community.
those people. Yeah, good community.
Yeah, for sure. Tomorrow night, Laugh Camp, Pierre Douglas, thank you for coming in, man.
Thanks for having me.
You are welcome anytime.
Absolutely.
Sit tight. All right, here we go. On this day, June 7th, 1978, the Washington Bullets, yes, that's what they were called then, defeated the Seattle Supersonics for the NBA title. Wes Unseld hit the free throws in Game 7 to lead the Bullets to the win. Their coach, Dick Motta, was the first guy in the sports realm anyway. He said during that playoff run, the opera isn't over until the fat lady sings. And that's when the fat lady hadn't sung yet. That whole sports thing started that season. The Seattle Sonics starting center, Marvin Webster, was my brother's college teammate and roommate at Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland. Marvin was the number 1 pick in the ABA draft and the number 3 pick in the NBA draft.
Not bad.
In 1974. And signed with, I believe, the Nuggets first, bought a Mercedes-Benz, and the first thing he did was he drove it to our house.
Oh, really?
And we played wiffle ball in the backyard with the number 1 pick in the draft. There were no cameras. There was no Twitter. There was no nothing. It was just another dude playing wiffle ball in my backyard.
Nice.
I think about that right now. If, like, the number 1 pick in the draft was hanging out. Well, I was 10, and I thought it was normal. Like, yeah. It was those were good days. But the Sonics lost, and then they traded Marvin, and then they won without him, and then I was sad because I was like, I guess he kind of sucks.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.